Watkins Glen International.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah!
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Oh, yeah!
Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yeah!
The most important person in sports is you, the fan.
Let me tell you something. I'm a real fan.
And your place for sports talk is Mad Dog Sports Radio, where your voice is heard all day long.
I couldn't wait to get into the truck, turn on 82.
Sharing the thrill of victory.
The joy, the jubilation. I can't stop smiling.
And the agony of defeat.
When is this franchise going to realize people really care about this?
Passionate sports fans call 888 Mad Dog 6.
You gotta love sports.
Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, or anytime on the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Now.
CJCL Toronto. This
slams the ball to right field, way back, way gone.
Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second to throw. In time
on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
A series win in their grasp. The Blue Jays provided late heroics yesterday, waiting until the 11th for Alejandro Kirk's walk-off hit. Toronto took down St. Louis 4-3 and can take the set with a victory today. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in on this Saturday. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Ben Nicholson-Smith of At The Letters Sportsnet and Sportsnet.ca. Show Ali is our host. Nick Blackmore is our producer. And our technical directors are Andrew Adams and Tom Young. Toronto Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Mississauga on Lakeshore Road and on Watline Avenue. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com. Canada's #1 rust protection. Two former teammates match up today as steady veterans Jose Berrios and Kyle Gibson duel at Rogers Center. Together with the Twins from 2016 to 2019, they represent the Blue Jays and the Cardinals today with first pitch coming up on the other side. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, streaming on the Sportsnet app at sportsnet.ca and across the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, Fixed Rate Pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca. Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's building center. Visit timbermart.ca.
One team captured the heart of a Midwest city in the 1980s.
We became a tough-minded defensive team, and then the adoption of the bad boy name.
They took over the league with their rough style of play.
Lambeer just fired at Jordan.
And will always be remembered as one of the greatest teams in the history of the NBA.
And the Pistons have won the World Championship.
Don't miss our tribute to the Bad Boys, a 4-episode series. This coming week, Monday through Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern each day. Sirius XM NBA Radio, Channel 86, and the all-new Sirius XM app.
SiriusXM NFL Radio is your home for the National Football League all year long on Channel 88 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Radio Network.
3-3, bottom of the 11th, bases loaded, 1 out. The 0-1. Swing and a high fly ball, deep left field, way back, and Alejandro Kirk has planted it on the warning track to win the game.
great for him. You know, you're back there as a catcher for 11 innings and you're grinding, and it's great for him. You know, it's tough. It's a tough pitcher, good slider, good sinker, good approach. You know, so it's always nice when you're battling like that and you're mentally locked in and probably exhausted that you're the guy to win it. So good time for his first walk-off.
That was Blue Jays manager John Schneider speaking after yesterday's walk-off win. 4-3, the Blue Jays beat the St. Louis Cardinals in 11 innings in the series opener. Now we get set for Game 2 with the Blue Jays having an opportunity to win the series. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Ben Nicholson-Smith. And, Ben, really that game yesterday had everything from great pitching to some clutch hits on both sides to good defense. It was a really entertaining ball game.
It really was, start to finish, and some great pitching from Kevin Gausman, who was up to 99 on the radar gun. And I also thought that was the best defensive game that I've ever seen from Vlad Guerrero Jr. He was phenomenal, playing two different positions, making great plays. Then you have some good bullpen work from the Blue Jays relievers. That's big, and of course the walk-off from Kirk. So there was a lot that went right for the Blue Jays yesterday.
Blue Jays took it 4-3. It was their 70th win of this season. Let's take a look at the Bet365 standings. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19+, play responsibly, Ontario only. Blue Jays are 70-78, 16 games back of the Yankees for the division lead, and 8.5 back of the Minnesota Twins for the final wild card spot. On the other side, the Cardinals dropped to within a game of 500 with their loss. They're 74-73, 11 back of Milwaukee for the division, and now 7 games back of the New York Mets, and they have 15 left to play. Do the Cardinals. Today in the Cardinals lineup, who does Ollie Marmol have in there, Ben?
Well, it starts once again with Mason Wynn, the very exciting young shortstop, leading off. After that, it'll be Alec Burleson at DH, coming off a 2-hit game. Paul Goldschmidt will play first and bat third, followed by Nolan Arenado playing third base in the cleanup spot. Then it goes to Brendan Donovan, the left-handed hitter, will play left field once again. And Thomas Sajazi, coming off of his first career home run, will bat sixth and play second base. Lars Nootbaar in the lineup batting seventh and playing center field today. Pedro Pajes catching once again and batting eighth. And Jordan Walker in the starting lineup today playing right field.
On the mound for the Cardinals will be the veteran Kyle Gibson, right-hander who was with the Orioles last season. On the Blue Jays side, George Springer back in right field today and in the leadoff spot. Nathan Lucas goes to center field today, hits second once again. Vladdy's at first, batting third. DHing is Spencer Horwitz. He'll hit cleanup. Late switch in the lineup that we'll get to in a little bit. Ernie Clement, the shortstop now, hitting fifth. Alejandro Kirk, yesterday's hero, back behind the plate, batting sixth. Addison Barger is the third baseman, batting seventh now for the Blue Jays. Davis Schneider, the second baseman, bats eighth, and Joey Loperfido hits ninth and plays left field. Jose Berrios and the Blue Jays strut out onto the field. Toronto in their home white jerseys and pants today, and for Berrios, it'll be his 30th start of the season. 15-9, a career-high 15 wins, and a 3.52 ERA in over 176 innings. He's been simply phenomenal over the last month and a half.
Yeah, if you look at his last 8 starts, Jose Berrios has pitched to a 2.22 ERA. That's a 52 2/3 inning sample. He has been very hard to hit during that period of time, and we've seen this from him in the course of his career, and this year in the course of an individual season where he can run into lulls and he can have these tough stretches, but because of his work ethic, his athleticism, his ability to read swings from other hitters, he can adjust mid-season or midway through a game, and that's what we're seeing right now from Jose Berrios.
Leading the Blue Jays in wins, leading the Blue Jays starters in ERA, not counting Bowden Francis, who has not made nearly as many starts as Jose Berrios has, and he is looking at a year right now that if you ended it, would be better numbers-wise than last season, which is a pretty difficult thing for all of these Blue Jays starters to do, improve upon 2023.
Yeah, the bar was set really high last year. They had a great season collectively, and Berrios, he was good last year, so he's building on that. And when you look at his youth in this rotation, he kind of offers that combination of experience, and he's certainly an established Major League pitcher, but he is also younger than Kevin Gausman and than Chris Bassett, so he is someone who's in his prime and pitching like it.
Berrios finishing up his warm-ups. The Cardinals today will at least wear my personal favorite of their jerseys, the baby blue uniform and pants. Still the iconic red bird on the bat across the chest for St. Louis.
Phenomenal look.
Really, really nice from the Cardinals, and even saw a fan in an Ozzie Smith throwback baby blue Cardinals jersey sitting just behind home plate. Mason Wynn steps up to the dish, taps the plate, and bats from the right side to start this game. Corners are watching a bunt. Addison Barger is in on the edge of the turf. Berrios kicks and delivers, and the first pitch is a fastball. Called a ball, looks pretty good, 1-0. Time of the first pitch today, 3:09 Eastern, and what a day in downtown Toronto. 25 degrees, sunny, roof open, and a buzz in the ballpark as the 1-0 goes in, and that'll be called a strike right down the middle to make it 1-1. For Berrios, he's got 3 different fastballs between his sinker, a four-seamer, and a cutter. Throws a changeup and a slurve. 1-1. Swing and a miss at the aforementioned slurve. It's 1-2. Win a 273 batter, stands tall, open stance. The 1-2 from Berrios. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Doubled up on the slurve and got him to chase one in the dirt. 1 out.
Yeah, Berrios doing a really nice job of getting Mason Wynn to expand right there. That one coming in really toward the outside part of the plate, and he was still able to get Wynn to lunge at it and record that first strikeout of the game.
Slurve maybe has been a slightly less big factor this year than last year. Usage a little bit down, but still a big pitch for Berrios. His first offering to Alec Burleson is ripped down the right field line, but it hooks foul, 0-1. We're in the first inning, which is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. 1 out, base is empty, and Burleson, the left-handed hitting DH, steps back in. The 0-1. Called the ball inside, and it's going to be a tight zone today from crew chief Dan Bellino because a couple of the balls he's called appeared to hit the strike box pretty clearly. 1-1. Definitely over the plate, called strike 1-2. Alongside Bellino, Phil Cuzzi's umpiring first today. Tony Randazzo at second and Alex Tosi at third. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a high fly ball. Left field, slicing toward foul territory and into the seats.
Burleson having a really nice offensive season for the Cardinals, and one of the reasons for that is he is a tough player to strike out.
Yeah, you mentioned that nice season. 271 average, 21 homers for Burleson, 73 RBIs. 1-2. Swing and a foul again. Only 71 strikeouts for Burleson and over 500 at-bats. 1-2. Swing and a grounder hit softly to the left side. Backhanded by the shortstop, Clement. Routine throw over to first, 2 down.
And a good start for Jose Berrios today, attacking the strike zone, even if it is a small zone so far, and getting some weak contact right there from Burleson.
If we were in a robo-ump world, I think Berrios would not have thrown a ball yet today. He has 2 balls and 8 strikes, and both balls hit the automated strike box.
That's a good point.
Pitch to Paul Goldschmidt. Called strike. A word John Schneider used to describe Jose Berrios today was relentless with his approach and how he pitches. 0-1. Swing and a miss. Had Goldschmidt out in front on a slurve, 0-2. Paul Goldschmidt, the first baseman again for the Cardinals. 248 average, 30 doubles, 21 home runs. 0-2. Goldschmidt takes below the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes now the count on the 2022 National League MVP.
This is the 30th start of the season for Jose Berrios. He's on track to make 32 starts for what would be the 3rd year in a row. 1-2. Swing and a liner. Caught on short by Clement.
Leaping to the backhand side, Ernie Clement brings it in, takes a hit away from Paul Goldschmidt, and that's a 1-2-3, top of the first. No score, Blue Jays and Cardinals. George Springer hits against Kyle Gibson next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're two men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program.
What's up, baseball fans? Thanks for hanging out with us today for the Toronto Blue Jays game. Please make sure you hit that like button down below. It brings more fans into the chat. The more likes we get, the more fans that will be here to hang out with us. Well, we shut down this Toronto Blue Jays season. It's been a bit of a disappointment, but you know what? There's always next year. We're used to saying that as Toronto fans. Thanks for being here. Please hit that like button, and we'll see you guys back in the chat. Go Jays, go!
A large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed-rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca. At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Jose Berrios, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Ben Nicholson-Smith, bottom of the first inning at Rogers Center. George Springer leading off in his scoreless game. The pitch from Kyle Gibson, the Cardinals starter, zips in at 91 down the middle, strike one. 28th start of the season for Gibson, the 36-year-old 6'6" righty. 8-6 with a 4.20 ERA. 0-1. Springer takes again. That one just off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Blue Jays know Gibson, especially from his long tenure with the Twins, but also spent last year with the Orioles. 1-1. Down and away, 2-1. And he's kind of a steady veteran that seems to put together pretty consistent numbers each and every season.
Yeah, he really has been a reliable, let's say, number 4 starter for a long time now.
He winds and delivers. Hits the knees with a fastball. Springer bending back, not sure about the call, but it is a strike, and it's 2-2.
And at times the Jays have tried to acquire him over the years when they've been looking to fill their rotation.
2-2. Swing and a foul back. First rip of the at-bat for Springer. Yeah, there was a lot of talk about it before the 2023 season. Gibson had just come off of his stint with the Phillies after he was with Texas for a little bit, and it looked like the Blue Jays might have had him, and then the Orioles swooped in instead. Another 2-2. Inside, ball 3.
Yeah, that was a big deal within the context of the American League East, and it did seem that the Jays were pretty serious about adding him, and he ended up in Baltimore on a division rival.
Then this year signed a 1-year deal with the Cardinals worth $12 million. Player option for another 12 next year. His payoff pitch. Swing and a grounder hit to short. Wind circles around it. Crow hops, throws over to first, and shows off that good arm as he gets Springer for the first out. Tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, you can win a trip for 2 to Toronto Blue Jays home opener next season. Or you could win an all-inclusive vacation to Mexico tomorrow night. Visit BlueJays.com/5050. Select your add-on raffle tickets at checkout, and your name can be selected tonight. Get tickets from anywhere in Ontario or Nova Scotia. Nathan Lucas up, the right-on-left pitch. High, ball 1. Lucas was in the 2 spot yesterday, back in there today, and now playing center field. Got the start in left yesterday. 1-0. Swinging a ground ball to the mound, picked up on the backhand side by Gibson, overhand flip to first, and there are 2 outs. Jose Berrios is extremely hot, but Kyle Gibson is on a nice run himself. He threw 7 scoreless in his last start, and he's been pretty good over the last few.
Yeah, he can go on these runs. It's a combination of pitches that will keep hitters off balance and not going to overpower people at this point in his career, but he can miss the barrel pretty well.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. up, 2 outs, bases empty, the pitch. Fastball at the knees, strike 1.
Get some weak contact like he got against Lucas right there on the ground ball right back to the pitcher. That's what Kyle Gibson can do when he's on.
Right-hander nods his head, steps to the left, kicks, and delivers. Swing and a miss. Guerrero swinging over top of that sinker that's responsible for both of the ground outs so far. It's 0-2. The low 90s sinker is the lead pitch for Gibson. Throws a sweeper, a cutter, 4-seamer change, and curve. 0-2. Downstairs, Vladdy lays off the sinker, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
That's a good take by a disciplined hitter right there. That pitch was not too far inside, and it wasn't much below the zone, but still a good take there by Vlad Jr.
Gibson winds, and the 1-2. Good take by Guerrero again. Started the swing for a second on the changeup, but threw his hands up in the air to make sure he took it. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Gibson keeping the ball low against a very dangerous power hitter, someone who came close to leaving the yard twice last night.
Righties 2-2. Swinging a ground ball, speared at the mound again by the 6'6 Gibson. He gloved it overhead. He throws over to first, and that's a very tidy 1-2-3. Bottom of the first inning. Nothing across for the Blue Jays. No score. Cardinals and Blue Jays after 1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi there, it's Will Arnett here, host of Smartless, a podcast I do with my pals Sean Hayes and Jason Bateman, with special guests from Larry David, Selena Gomez, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the presidents Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and Bill Clinton. But it's an off-the-cuff podcast examining the nooks and crannies of an English muffin to breaking down world affairs. And now you can hear every new episode a full week early on the SiriusXM app, including this week's latest with Howard Stern. Just search Smartless to join the fun.
SiriusXM has everything a college football fan needs.
He's in trouble and down he goes. The ball comes out.
All the big games are on the SiriusXM app.
Down the sidelines, midfield. It's a race. Picking them up, putting them down.
Plus, hear daily in-depth analysis on College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
There's not a lot of holes or weaknesses on that football team, and they've got the goods where you want to have the goods for a championship caliber roster.
Our experts get you ready for game day every day on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
The U.S. men's national team has hired Mauricio Pochettino as their next head coach. Here's what the experts on SiriusXM FC had to say.
This is a defining moment in American soccer for me.
This is a coup for the U.S. men's national team.
Pochettino can look at these guys, evaluate these guys, and it's going to be all about merit.
He represents hope for the U.S. men's national team fan.
When a major story breaks, tune to SiriusXM FC for instant reaction and analysis. Channel 157 and the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy football players, from start-sit decisions to waiver wire advice. Win your fantasy football league with Fantasy Sports Radio. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
Radio Network.
The second inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. No score, Blue Jays and Cardinals. Jose Berrios' first pitch of the inning misses down and away to Nolan Arenado, 1-0. Thank you very much for joining us on this beautiful Saturday afternoon in Toronto. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Ben Nicholson-Smith. Berrios kicks and delivers. Fastball just misses outside, 2 balls and no strikes. First time to the plate today for Nolan Arenado, third baseman for the Cardinals. That's .266 with 21 doubles and 16 homers. He takes a 2-0 slurve for a called strike, 2-1.
That pitch right on the outside corner, a pitch that Berrios hasn't been getting much of in the early going today, but he gets the call right there.
A bit of a gutsy pitch on 2-0 to go with the breaking ball. His 2-1. Another breaking ball misses down and away. 3 balls and 1 strike. Ten-time Gold Glover at third base, Nolan Arenado. Most of those with Colorado. Waggles the bat above his right shoulder. 3-1. Swing and a foul back. Bounced and hit Alejandro Kirk underside of the leg. Kirk saw right, though. It's 3-2.
It's a challenge pitch right there. 94 over the heart of the plate to a very good hitter, and Arenado fouled it off.
Berrios not afraid to challenge guys. It's what helps him keep the walks down and get a lot of quick outs. It also could contribute to the 28 home runs allowed by Berrios this season.
That's the give and take.
3-2. Swing and a foul off to the right and into the stands.
That's a great pitch from Berrios. He comes at him with the fastball, but it's 95 and it's right at the top of the zone.
Berrios looking into Kirk, now set at the belt. His payoff pitch. Swing and another foul ball sent to the right. That was a slurve over the middle. Arenado bounces the barrel of his bat off the plate, wheels it around once, and brings it above his right shoulder. A third consecutive 3-2. Swing and a high fly ball. Left center field. Loperfido, the left fielder, calling for it. Now Lucas, the center fielder, will call him off and make the catch. 1 out. Yesterday it would have been Loperfido who had the authority out there, but they flip-flopped. Loperfido was in center. He's in left now. Lucas in center.
And that's a good call by Joey Loperfido just to back off there. He obviously could have made that play, and as you said, Ben, would have been the one in charge to make that play last night, but in this situation, he lets Lucas make that call.
1 out, Brendan Donovan up. First pitch. Called strike 0-1. Speaking of center fielders, was walking before pregame to go get food walking back. Ran into Devon White here at Rogers Center. 0-1. Check swing, pitch down and in, appeal down to third. He did go around, says Alex Tosi. It's 0-2. Donovan, a left-handed hitter, born in Germany, 271 batter. 0-2. Takes a fastball inside. No score, Blue Jays and Cardinals. Game 2 of the series. Top of the second inning, 1 out, and the base is empty. Berrios set. He twists back and delivers. Swing and a foul ball hit back into the netting. Still 1-2.
And I shortchanged Jose Berrios earlier today. I said that it would have been his third consecutive season with 32 starts, but actually it would be his 6th full season with 32 in a row. It just, they haven't all come with the Blue Jays.
Right. Next pitch is hit foul again. Donovan beats a changeup into the ground, or a slurve rather. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Berrios has the outside chance of all outside chances to get to 200 innings. I mean, he'd probably have to complete a game, maybe even 2. But he's consistently a 190-inning guy, and it looks like he'll get there again. 1-2. Swing and a foul back once more. Donovan really fighting with 1 out.
And really, 190 innings is a ton. That puts you in the upper tier among Major League starting pitchers, because not that many starters earn as much trust as Jose Berrios has, to the point that their managers say, all right, game on the line, you're out there over and over.
Another 1-2. And it's just upstairs, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Donovan with a little underhand golf swing, pinwheels the bat once. Left-handed hitter looking out at Berrios. 2-2. Outside, ball 3.
This season, Jose Berrios 7th in innings pitched in all of Major League Baseball. So really one of the most durable pitchers you'll find.
Here's his 9th pitch of the plate appearance to Brendan Donovan. Swing and a foul ball off to the left, and we'll get into double digits in this plate appearance. The strikeouts being down was mentioned pregame by John Schneider, but he said the control is good, the wins are good, the ERA is good. So they're not too worried about the strikeouts. 3-2. Hit on the ground to first. Guerrero moved in, now backs up. Underhand flip to Berrios, and the Gold Glover covering first base for the second out of the inning. Took a while, but he got there, and he retires Brendan Donovan.
That's right. You can count on Jose Berrios to really contribute defensively when he's out there on the mound. One of the best defensive pitchers that you'll find. And Vladdy Guerrero Jr. had to really tilt back to get that ground ball, so he wasn't going to be able to make the play at first himself. Finds Berrios, and they get the second out.
The good thing for Vladdy is he had plenty of reps doing that yesterday. He had to go back about 12 times to get ground balls, so that's routine for him now.
Truly.
2 down, and the rookie Thomas Saggezia, bases empty, first pitch. Just outside, ball 1. No score in the top of the second, and Saggezia, a big part of the Cardinals' offense yesterday, drove in 2 of the 3 Cardinal runs. 1-0. Foul tip, 1 ball, 1 strike. Saggezia pickup at the 2023 deadline by the Cardinals. Came over as part of the package for Jordan Montgomery and Chris Stratton when they went to the World Series champion Rangers. 1-1. Swing and a ground ball back to the mound. Nice stop by Berrios. Poses for a moment and throws over to first to end the inning. 6 up, 6 down for Jose Berrios. Scoreless ball game, middle of the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
It's time to celebrate you with the party at the ballpark. On Friday, September 27th, dial up your fall wardrobe with the Blue Jays Fanal Giveaway presented by TD.
They go back-to-back in the bottom of the 9th. How much fun was that? It is loud here at Rogers Center, and 40,000 are chanting his name.
Get ready for good vibes and a chance to win great prizes.
What a weekend for the Blue Jays.
Fan Appreciation Weekend, presented by TD, September 27th, 28th, and 29th. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting.
Hey, baseball fans, thank you again for hanging out with us tonight. Are you new here or are you already an insider? Have you hit that subscribe button yet? If you're new, please hit it and turn on that bell so you don't miss it when we go live for any of our live Toronto sports games. Whether it's the Blue Jays here, we're finishing the season up with them. We're going to be going live for every single MLB playoff game as well as the start of hockey season, basketball season. We've got the Bills live right here on TSI, Argos. Thank you for being a Toronto sports fan. Thanks for being a sports fan in general. Now let's get back to the chat. Hope you're having fun. Chat it up. Go Jays, go.
2 men in a truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks. So give us a call today.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
A drive to deep center field. Trout at the wall and launches it sail.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Home half of the second inning. Spencer Horwitz leading off for the Blue Jays. No score. Blue Jays and Cardinals. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Ben Nicholson-Smith. Kyle Gibson on the mound for St. Louis. Right on left, the pitch home. Swing and a foul off into the seats out of play. 0-1. Spencer Horwitz, the DH today, got the start at first base yesterday and is in one of his hotter stretches of the season. Has his numbers up to 278 and 12 homers. 0-1. Inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. It can get a little dangerous, Ben, to extrapolate too much, but 12 homers, 18 doubles in about a half season is pretty solid for Horwitz. 1-1. Swing and a fly ball, right field. Jordan Walker, the right fielder, moves into the gap and makes the catch. 1 out.
Yeah, I think when you look at what Horwitz has done, particularly against right-handed pitchers like Kyle Gibson, he's really showing that he can handle major league pitching. And that's great. You need a lot of guys in the lineup who can do that, who can contribute on a regular basis in a lineup. And Horwitz showing that, especially against right-handers, he belongs in there.
Ernie Clement up to the plate now. Third baseman Arenado moves in case of a bunt, and the pitch. Called strike. Was a tight zone until that pitch, which looked a couple inches off the plate outside, but it's 0-1. Clement's a .267 hitter, 11 home runs. 0-1. Swing and a mile-high pop-up middle of the infield. That's the shortstop's ball, Mason Wynn. He walks into it and makes the catch. 2 outs. That brings Alejandro Kirk to the plate with 2 outs, no score, and the base is empty in the bottom of the second. And yesterday it was Kirk who technically gets credit for a single that he hit to the warning track to walk it off with the bases loaded in the 11th.
Great contact in that at-bat, and he had a double earlier last night.
The pitch to Kirk. Called strike. Kirk, who's still relatively young, it was his first career walk-off hit. 0-1. Takes a breaking ball down and away. That was the sweeper. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kirk taps the plate a couple times, points his barrel up toward the sky. And the 1-1 pitch. Fastball just outside, 2-1. 92nd game of the season for Kirk, batting .246 with 16 doubles and 5 home runs. The 2-1. Swing and a foul back, 2-2. It's interesting at times in Kirk's career, it's been thought that catching or playing too much could contribute to fatigue and its hurt performance. But he has had one of his better stretches recently since Danny Jansen was traded, and he took on more of a load of the catching.
Right, and this is a time in the season where you might think that he would be more fatigued, but his production offensively has been better as the season has progressed, and his throwing too in a lot of cases.
2-2. Foul tip, strike 3. Nice snare there by Pedro Pajes on a breaking ball down and away. He catches the foul tip to end the inning. It's Kyle Gibson's first strikeout of the day. These two former teammates going back and forth so far, Gibson and Berrios. No score, Blue Jays and Cardinals after 2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You can bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Sundays are for Junior Jays, and with all kinds of cool new games and activities in the exciting outfield district areas, there's no end to the family fun you'll have.
If you're feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
Hey, Jays fans, ready to hit a home run with your next roofing project? Step up to the plate with GAF Timberline HDZ shingles, the official roofing shingle of the Toronto Blue Jays. Just like our Jays, GAF Timberline HDZ shingles deliver top performance with unmatched durability and protection. So, when it's time to cover your bases, choose the winning team. Visit your local Home Depot or shop online at homedepot.ca for all your roofing shingles and accessories. GAF. We protect what matters most.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca. This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Sprinting back, Varsho curling at the track. He leaps, and he made the catch!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Mississauga on Lakeshore Road and on Watline Avenue. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned crownofcrown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. Top of the third inning, and still no base runners yet for either side in this game. Jose Berrios back out on the mound to face the bottom third of the Cardinal order, starting with left-handed hitting Lars Nootbaar. Berrios' pitch. Low ball 1. Nootbaar had a nice day for the Cardinals yesterday, was on twice with a single and a walk. 1-0. Swing and a ground ball hit right at the second baseman, Davis Schneider. He pops up and throws to first. 1 out.
Well, over on the Cardinals side, Kyle Gibson has been using his sinker very effectively, and Berrios did just that right here, inducing that weak ground ball to second base.
And not only were these guys teammates, but kind of an interesting ripple effect or sliding doors moment. Kyle Gibson got hurt in 2016, and that was why Jose Berrios got promoted from AAA for the first time, to fill that roster spot. Pitch now to Pedro Pages, called strike one, and then they end up pitching well together for a couple seasons before they both go their separate ways.
That's a cool story.
Berrios set, right on right pitch to Pages, and the Cardinal catcher thumps it deep left field. Going back low Perfido, has some room in front of the warning track and makes the catch. 2 down. Thought Pages got a little bit more of that than he did. It was a changeup left up, but he got under it seems.
Yeah, it looks like he didn't quite hit it on the barrel one way or the other because it just wasn't hit hard enough. It was hit high enough, and it still sent low Perfido pretty far back, but he had room to make that catch comfortably.
2 quick outs in this inning for Berrios. About to throw his 40th pitch, and he deals it to Jordan Walker. Outside, ball 1. Walker, a big right-handed hitting outfielder, has kind of a unique stance. Stands tall, he's open in his stance, and he's just on the toes of his front left foot. 1-0. Called strike. Walker, a very notable prospect for the Cardinals, had his first major league hit on opening day off Alek Manoah last year when the Blue Jays opened up in St. Louis. He swings at the 1-1 and hits it high and deep to left center field. Low Perfido back, turns around, and that ball is gone. Solo home run for Jordan Walker, and the first hit or even anyone to reach in the game is a homer that gives the Cardinals a 1-0 lead.
Walker absolutely crushed that one well over the left field wall, and that was a pitch that Berrios left over the plate. Probably caught a little bit too much plate, and Walker put a great swing on that to give St. Louis the lead.
It was a hung slurve. Walker hit it 397 feet out to left center, and Berrios knew it right away, tapping his chest right as he watched the ball go over the fence. And now he'll try to bounce back against Mason Wynn. First pitch to the top of the order hitter, hit in the air to right center, and on the line it's caught by Lucas to end the inning. Cardinals strike first with Jordan Walker's solo homer. It's 1-0 St. Louis, middle of the third. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
To truly go inside the game of pro football, you need to see things from the player's perspective.
Let's go.
Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, catch the Player's Point.
Let's go. Let's bring the energy.
Join NFL tight end Colin Thompson and Miami Dolphins fullback Alec Ingold as they break down the biggest stories in the NFL.
It's an encouraging way to look at football.
The Player's Point. Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern on NFL Radio, Channel 88 in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your Sirius XM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on Sirius XM Channel 89, or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. Sirius XM Sports. We're more than just a game.
This is Dave LaGreca, creator of the biggest pro wrestling show on the planet, Busted Open. Don't miss myself and my Hall of Fame cast and crew as we break down every story in and out of the ring and talk to the top names in the business, like the legend himself, The Undertaker.
I'm actually glad to be on a real show.
Catch Busted Open live every day from 9 to noon Eastern on Sirius XM Fight Nation, channel 156, and on the Sirius XM app.
Hey everyone, it's Justin Turbin, your 24/7 home for hoops all year long is Sirius XM NBA Radio Channel 86 and the Sirius XM app. Just search NBA Radio.
the third inning. 1-0 Cardinals over Blue Jays at Rogers Center. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Ben Nicholson-Smith. Object on the field in right field, so we wait a second before we get underway. Kyle Gibson has turned his focus back to the plate, and Addison Barger is waiting there, the Blue Jay third baseman. Right on left pitch. Barger takes it just inside, ball one. Addison Barger, a late insertion into the lineup today, was originally on the bench. Batting .208 on the year, 11 doubles, 7 homers in 56 games. 1-0. Swing and a high fly ball, backs up Nootbaar in center. In left center, about 10 feet in front of the warning track, he stops and makes the catch. 1 out.
Well, that tells you how much power Addison Barger has, because he really didn't get all of that ball, and yet he sent it very deep to center field, that one leaving the bat at 102 miles per hour, and it still wasn't his best swing.
Barger has some pretty serious pop, and he's really got more consistency going recently, but no one has solved Kyle Gibson yet. 7 up, 7 down. Davis Schneider tries next. Here's the pitch. Fastball at the knees, strike one. Schneider up with 1 out and the bases empty. And Gibson about to throw only his 28th pitch, and we're in the third inning. 0-1. Bounce to the plate, 1 ball, 1 strike. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth, encouraging you to step up for the home team and shop local. Timber Mart stores are family owned and operated and know the value in giving back to the communities they serve. Now more than ever, it's important to shop local. New baseball for Gibson after skipping the last one. And the 1-1 pitch. Outside, ball 2.
Well, it's not every day that Davis Schneider starts against right-handed pitching, especially lately as he has been struggling, but an opportunity for him to test himself.
2-1. Swing and a high drive, right field. Walker back at the track, turns around. See you later! Schneider, his first homer since June, and the Blue Jays tie it up 1-1.
That is a much-needed swing for Davis Schneider, who goes the opposite way on a pitch that he has struggled against so much this season, which is a fastball, but he gets one up in the zone and hammers it over the right field wall to tie this game.
The home run jacket has been waiting for Schneider, his 11th of the season. And right after Jordan Walker homered in the top half, Schneider answers in the bottom half. It's 1-1. Pitch now to Joey Loperfido. Upstairs, ball 1. Gibson trying to settle back in like Berrios did last inning. 1-0. Outside, 2-0.
And like Berrios, Kyle Gibson will give up home runs at times, partly because, again, he's someone who's around the zone. He's not going to try to dance around the edges at all times. He will challenge hitters, and in that case, Davis Schneider made him pay.
2-0. Called strike 2-1. It is hard to lose a game all on solo homers. If you're going to be in the zone, you're going to have to give up a good handful of them to lose a game. The 2-1. Swing and a miss, 2-2. And a lot of the top pitchers in the game still will be very direct and give up a fair number of home runs.
Verlander, even when he was at his best, that was the one way that you could get him.
Even a guy like Kevin Gausman last year gave up a fair number of home runs. 2-2. Loperfido just gets a piece of it on a check swing. Bounces back into the backstop. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
But that's a big moment for Davis Schneider. He had a triple earlier this week to get things rolling just a little bit. But as with some of these other Blue Jays, he's looking for a strong finish here.
Two again. And again, just tipped foul. That one bounced off the catcher, Pajes.
And it would mean a lot for Davis Schneider entering this offseason because, let's face it, for the better part of this summer, he has really struggled at the plate. June, July, August. He went through some real lulls offensively, and if he can rebound, that would be big for him and, of course, for the Jays.
1-1 game because of Schneider's homer. 2-2 pitch to Joey Loperfido. Outside, ball 3. Tried to get him to chase a curveball. It's a full count. Loperfido, who grew up not too far from Schneider in the South Jersey area, batting right after him. Payoff pitch to the left-handed hitter. Swing and a fly ball left center. Going back, Nootbaar at the warning track, and it's past him and bouncing up against the wall. Loperfido around second, thought about third, but he'll stumble back to second base with a one-out double.
That's a great swing by Joey Loperfido, and he was definitely thinking about third. One little bobble in the outfield by Nootbaar or Donovan, and he would have been headed toward third base, but they were able to recover it. Donovan coming up with that ball relatively quickly and holding Loperfido to a double.
You can see, though, the sheer athleticism from Loperfido. Not many are thinking about triples on balls to left center. Usually you're thinking about it when you hit it to right center. But he maybe had a 50-50, decides to play it safe with the top of the order coming up. And with Kyle Gibson giving up back-to-back extra base hits, Dusty Blake, the pitching coach, goes out to the mound for the Cardinals.
Yeah, those are some big swings from the bottom of the order, and that's what the Blue Jays are looking for as they give opportunities to some of these players who are trying to establish themselves.
As Blake talks with Gibson and the rest of the Cardinals, let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Devilishly good since Toronto first raised the trophy in '92. Join them for wings, ribs, beer, cocktails, and catch every play at your local St. Louis Bar and Grill. Download the app or visit stlouiswings.com for more details. Always devilishly good. Some other games getting close to finishing around Major League Baseball. The Boston Red Sox are thrashing the New York Yankees right now in the Bronx. It is 7-1 for the Red Sox, and Masataka Yoshida has driven in 3 of those 7 runs. George Springer now up for the Blue Jays. Mound meeting over. Runner on second, 1 out. Gibson's pitch. Springer swings and misses. Strike 1. These two are very familiar. Springer has 22 career at-bats against Kyle Gibson. 3 hits in those 22 at-bats. Oh, 1. Fouled off, 0-2.
And that was a better swing there from Springer, but the first swing was very off balance. He looked uncomfortable, and perhaps a reflection of those struggles. Just 3 hits and 22 at-bats.
Springer trying to drive in Loperfido from second. Any single to the outfield should do it. 1 out, and the 0-2 pitch. Check swing, pitch down and away. Appeal to first, no swing, says Phil Cuzzy. And that keeps the at-bat going for Springer. It's 1-2. Gibson nods his head with the signal and now looks out at second base at Loperfido. 1-2. Swing and a soft liner hit to second, racing in. It's caught by Sajazi. 2 outs.
Nice running catch by Sajazi, who continues to look good defensively over there for St. Louis. And also a good read by Loperfido to understand that that ball was not going to give him an opportunity to advance.
So Loperfido will stay at second base. We're now running on contact. He almost certainly scores on any single to the outfield. And Nathan Lucas hits for the Blue Jays, 0 for 1. Pitch home. Low ball 1. Nathan Lucas, a left-handed hitter, loves batting against right-handed pitchers. Between majors and minors this year, hitting over 350 off of righties. 1-0. Down and away, 2 balls and no strikes. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is on deck for the Blue Jays, and that at least makes me think that Kyle Gibson probably wants to throw a strike on 2-0. Don't want to walk Lucas and get to Guerrero. Pitch home. He missed inside, 3-0.
And for that exact same reason, this could be a good chance for Nathan Lucas just to watch one over the plate and force Kyle Gibson into the zone, because Vlad Guerrero Jr. with a couple men on would be a very intriguing possibility for the Jays.
1-1 ball game. Schneider homered in this inning. Loperfido on second. 2 outs in the 3-0. And Lucas taken all the way, takes strike one. Kyle Gibson walked back up the hill, now steps on the third base side of the rubber. 6'6" righty looks to second. And now it's 3-1. Swing and a high drive, right field line. Moving over to the corner is Walker, and just inside fair territory, he hops up and makes the catch to end the inning. The Blue Jays on the board, though. A solo home run by Davis Schneider makes it a 1-1 ball game after 3. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This is Bob Kendrick, president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum and host of the award-winning podcast, Black Diamonds. This week, Tony Gwynn Jr. joins me to discuss the history of the East-West All-Star Game and its recreation in Cooperstown, New York.
It was an honor just to be a part of that. It's an eye-opening experience to realize the type of community you're connected to.
Listen to Black Diamonds right now on the all-new SiriusXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
If you love golf, then you should never turn off PGA Tour Radio. Hear from the biggest names in the sport.
Champion golfer of the year is Xander Schauffele.
I think best round of golf ever in my life.
Listen to special shows from people who love the game, like rock and roll legend Alice Cooper.
There's a putt, must be 90 feet long, and you make that putt.
And get help with your own game.
You'll get through your iron shots and have predictable distance.
It's all golf, all the time, on PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
A Sportsnet Radio Network.
The fourth inning is presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Blue Jays won, Cardinals won. Top of the fourth, about to get underway. Jose Berrios facing off with Alec Burleson. Berrios looking in, 1 hit and 1 run allowed so far today. The right-hander twists and delivers. First pitch hit in the air, right center field. That sends Lucas back toward the warning track, and he runs it down to make the play. That was not routine by any degree, but for Lucas, a very nice catch, 1 out.
That was a great catch. Lucas covered a lot of ground, and he was started shaded toward left field. Even though Burleson is a left-handed hitter, that was a long way for Nathan Lucas to go, but he covered that very smoothly to make a nice play.
Ran 95 feet to get that ball. Quick out, and now Paul Goldschmidt up to the plate. The pitch home. Fastball for a strike. John Schneider had mentioned in flip-flopping Loperfido and Lucas today as opposed to yesterday's lineup, wanted to give Lucas a chance to show himself in center field. 0-1. Outside 2-1, or pardon me, 1-1. Because as we talked about a little yesterday, although Lucas was with the Blue Jays for a lot of last season, he didn't play very often, so they actually haven't seen him in Major League games out there a ton. 1-1. Low 2-1.
Yeah, most of what I've seen from Lucas was in spring training over the last couple of years because he has not played in the major leagues very much, but what we have seen against high-level competition is very encouraging.
2-1. Low, 3 balls and 1 strike. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Ben Nicholson-Smith. Show Ali, our host today, Nick Blackmore, our producer, Andrew Adams and Tom Young, our technical directors. 3-1. Swing and a weak ground ball to second base. Schneider over to get it. Vladdy made a late break to first, so Berrios improvises and covers the bag instead for the rare 4-1 putout, and there are 2 down.
That was a cool play. Vlad Jr. got caught in between right there, and he probably needs just to go straight to the base in that situation, but he didn't read it quite right, and so Berrios picks him up, and to his credit, gets right over to first base, understands what needs to happen, and the Jays get the out.
And Vlad did the best thing he could do after making the wrong move. He got out of the way. He ducked down to the ground so Schneider could throw over him. 2 down, Nolan Arenado up. First pitch. High ball 1. Arenado flied out to center field to start the second inning. 0 for 1 today. 1-0. Swing and a foul back, 1-1. For Arenado, this is his 4th season with the St. Louis Cardinals. Traded over from the Rockies in 2021. 1-1 pitch inside, 2-1. It's easy to forget, but a really odd sequence in his career where he signed a huge extension with the Rockies in 2019. Played that year, 2-1. Low 3-1, but then other key players are reportedly being shopped by the Rockies. They don't look as serious about winning as maybe he thought they were when they signed. So he requests a trade before 2020. Then COVID hits, so they can't really trade him. He plays out 2020 and gets dealt in 21. 3-1 pitch. Swing and a foul off of his front foot, 3-2.
And it's always interesting when a great player is traded away from Coors Field, how are the offensive numbers going to translate? But the one thing that you knew with Arenado was his defense would translate, and he has continued to be an excellent defender, an elite defender with the Cardinals, especially when he first arrived in St. Louis. And the offense, understandably, has taken a little step back, but part of that, too, is just the regular aging curve.
3-2 pitch. And it's fouled off of the glove of Kirk. Couldn't hold on to it, so Arenado's still alive. Yeah, it's hard to know for sure with Arenado's production because it is down this year. But his first 2 years with the Cardinals were pretty... they weren't quite the Colorado numbers, but they were pretty strong offensive seasons, especially 22.
Right, you look at that season, 30 homers, 103 RBI, and a 151 OPS plus, which that's elite.
(3-2). Down and away, ball 4. Arenado takes a walk.
And when you look at his production and that of Paul Goldschmidt this year compared to 2022, 2023, that explains a lot of how the Cardinals are 74 and 73, just one game above 500, and not really in the mix for a playoff spot.
And if you went back a couple of weeks, they were below 500. They went on a bit of a run to get back over. Trying to stay over it today. 1-1 ball game. Runner on first, 2 outs. The pitch to Brendan Donovan is lined over the leap of Schneider at second and down in right field. Donovan jumped on a first pitch sinker left up, and it's his first hit of the day. The Cardinals' second knock. Arenado up to second, so 2 on with 2 out.
Well, and this is the biggest threat that the Cardinals have had so far, as Walker's home run came with the bases empty and 2 outs, but at this point, they got a couple base runners on for the first time today.
Alejandro Kirk wants to go talk to Jose Berrios before they pitch to the rookie Thomas Sajazi, so we can go back to the out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Red Sox have wrapped up their 7-1 win over the Yankees in the Bronx, and the Royals have defeated the Pittsburgh Pirates 5-1 at PNC Park. For those watching the batting title race, Bobby Witt Jr. did have 2 hits today, a double and a homer for the Royals, 3 RBIs. His batting average back up to .333.
Such a good player. He's up there in that MVP race with Aaron Judge, who homered yesterday, grand slam for number 52.
Broke a 16-game homerless drought, though, for Judge. Thomas Sajazi up now. First and second, 2 outs for the Cardinals. And the pitch. Called strike. Witt could end up with one of those years, kind of like a 2021 Vlad, where you go, this is one of the better runner-up MVP years you're going to find. 0-1. Swing and a hard-liner foul to the right out of play, 0-2.
And when you think about where Kansas City would be without Bobby Witt Jr., I mean, that's a big gulf. You could say the same about Aaron Judge, of course, with the Yankees, Juan Soto. You could say the same about Tarek Skubal and the Tigers.
Yep.
I mean, there are a lot of players out there who make a huge impact on their teams.
Berrios is 0-2. High. 1 ball and 2 strikes. On the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard later today, Detroit hosts Baltimore a day after the Tigers no-hit Baltimore until the final out. Detroit only 2.5 back of the Minnesota Twins for the last wild card spot. 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Berrios gets him to wave at the slurve, claps as he leaves the mound, stranding the walk and the hit, making it another scoreless inning. 1-1 ball game, middle of the 4th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca. Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's building center. Visit timbermart.ca.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Runner going, throw down to second. They got him.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Ben Schulman and Ben Nicholson-Smith on hand. Show Ali, our host today. Nick Blackmore, our producer. Andrew Adams and Tom Young, our technical directors. 1-1 ball game. Blue Jays and Cardinals. Bottom of the 4th. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. leads off. The pitch from Kyle Gibson. Vladdy holds up his swing and takes a strike on a cutter, 0-1. Guerrero hitting .320 this season, 0 for 1 today. Gibson nods now after waving off a couple. The 0-1. Swing and a miss by Vlad, 0-2.
That pitch below the zone, Vladdy maybe a little frustrated with himself, tapped his foot with his bat after missing that one.
It's a changeup that he just chased. Now the 0-2. Swing and a soft roller to short. Charging in Wynn, gloves it, throw on to first, and it does not get there in time. Guerrero is safe. A late signal by Phil Cuzzy, and I think the Cardinals are going to take a look at that one, but for now an infield hit.
And the Cardinals should look. This was close enough that it warrants a look, but Vlad Guerrero Jr. just flying down the line right there, and a good play by Mason Wynn to make it close because it was a weakly hit ground ball to shortstop.
Ollie Marmol has made the headset sign, and the Cardinals are going to challenge. I thought to the naked eye that he was out, although it was very close. We're getting some extra looks now. It does help the Blue Jays, though, that the call on the field is safe. They need to be sure that he was out to overturn it.
And it does look like that throw might have beat him by a narrow margin. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this will be fairly cut and dry. I mean, it's a third or less of a step that makes the difference. It's really close, but here they come with the call. It's Dan Bellino announcing that the call on the field is overturned. The runner is out, and Guerrero with a ground out to short to start the bottom of the 4th.
That was one of the quickest replays that I can recall.
I mean, that was as close as it was. There was one angle we saw, and it was like no chance he wasn't out. So Guerrero retired, 1-1 ball game, bases empty and 1 out. Spencer Horwitz up. The pitch. High ball 1. 13th game this season that Horwitz has been in the DH spot. Not all starts, but the majority of them starts. A couple pinch hit appearances. 1-0. Low 2-0. And it seems to be something that he does well. DHing not something everyone's comfortable with, but he's batting in the 340s with 3 homers in 12 games as a DH coming into this one. 2-0. Inside.
Well, it's important for him to build that comfort in this role because it's not something that all young players do. And with Vladdy at first base, you don't necessarily need Horwitz on the field at all times. Wagner is their preferred option at second base, so DH really is his best spot right now.
3-0 pitch. High and outside ball 4. Horwitz takes a 1-out walk. And potentially for Horwitz, some previous experience has helped him DHing. He was actually a catcher in high school before he ended up becoming more of a corner infielder. And when he wasn't catching in high school, he would often DH rather than go play another position. Horwitz down to first base, 1 out. Ernie Clement is up. Gibson from the stretch. Hits the outside edge, strike 1. Bit of a slide step there from Kyle Gibson. I imagine more to mess with the timing of Clement than worry about a steal from Horwitz, who has not tried to steal in the majors.
Would not expect Horwitz to try to steal. I would think the Cardinals would know that.
1 pitch down and away, 1 ball, 1 strike.
To go back to that first play of the inning, Mason Wynn threw that ball across the diamond 93 miles an hour from shortstop. So that is really showing off the arm that made him an amateur pitching prospect, and that's why he got Vladdy at first.
1-1. Swing and a fly ball center field. Backing up Nootbaar, now turning into the shade deep center. Twists and turns again to his right and makes the catch. 2 down. I don't know if the sun was a factor or something else, but Nootbaar turned to his right, twisted back to his left, and then again to his right before making the backhanded catch.
And I wonder if some of that, too, is that ball was hit as straightaway center field as you're ever going to see. So he was playing pretty much straight up to begin with. That can't be an easy read for a center fielder.
Yeah, they do often say, the center fielders, that when it's hit right at you, it's toughest to gauge. 2 outs now because of that Nootbaar catch. And here's Alejandro Kirk, the pitch. Inside, ball 1. Horwitz on first, taking his lead with Paul Goldschmidt holding him on. A lot of space on the right side of that infield with Goldschmidt stuck at first base and Sajazi up the middle. Kirk swings and ropes a ball foul down the left field line, 1-1. Kirk got out in front there on his sweeper, down and in. Couldn't keep it fair, but hit it 108 miles an hour, which would be one of, if not his hardest hit ball of the year had he kept it in play.
Yeah, his max this year is 113, so that's right up there toward as hard as he'll hit a ball.
1-1. Outside, 2-1. Kirk struck out to end the second inning. The lone strikeout today for Gibson. 2-1. Swing and a liner to right. Walker turns around, jumps up and makes the play, stretching his left arm back to reel it in and end the inning. Kirk almost got it over the big right fielder, but instead a line out and a scoreless bottom of the 4th. No hits, 1 left for the Blue Jays. 1-1 game going to the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
From study beats and tailgate party anthems.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games.
To informative podcasts and live college football.
30, 20, you're not going to catch him. The brick breezes into the end zone. Touchdown!
Add some school spirit to any moment this fall.
This is my fight song. This is coming from my eyes. Just leave it alone.
with an all-new collection in the SiriusXM app. Just search Back to School. SiriusXM has everything a college football fan needs.
He's in trouble, and down he goes. The ball comes out.
All the big games are on the SiriusXM app.
Down the sidelines midfield. It's a race. Picking them up, putting them down.
Plus, hear daily in-depth analysis on College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
There's not a lot of holes or weaknesses on that football team, and they've got the goods where you want to have the goods for a championship caliber roster.
Our experts get you ready for game day every day on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
If you want to win your fantasy football league, you need to listen to Fantasy Sports Radio. From lineup decisions to daily fantasy to waiver wire advice, injury updates, and so much more.
You cannot afford to drop a running back.
Our experts will help you dominate.
I think there's value there on Austin Eckler in PPR formats.
Set your lineup with Fantasy Sports Radio. Your home for fantasy football all season long. Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Hey everyone, it's Justin Turbin, your 24/7 home for hoops all year long is SiriusXM NBA Radio Channel 86 and the SiriusXM app. Just search NBA Radio.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center for the fifth inning between the Blue Jays and the Cardinals. Game 2 of this series. Blue Jays won yesterday. Today we're tied at 1. Solo home runs from Jordan Walker and Davis Schneider have us knotted up as Jose Berrios gets ready to face Lars Nootbaar, Pedro Pages, and Jordan Walker in the fifth. Interesting defensive change for the Blue Jays. Joey Loperfido out of this ball game. Addison Barger moves into left from third base, and Luis de los Santos will play third and hit ninth in Loperfido's spot. On Ben Schulman alongside Ben Nicholson-Smith. Berrios' pitch to Nootbaar. Low ball 1.
Loperfido in his one time up hit that double to left center field, ran the bases seemingly with regular amount of comfort at that point, so we'll await further word on the reason there.
1-0. Outside 2-0. Berrios kicks and delivers and misses down and in. 3 balls and no strikes. Nootbaar 0 for 1, grounded out to second base in the third inning. He faces a 3-0. And it's right over the heart of the plate for strike 1. We will have our injury report brought to you by Bergmanis Prera Personal Injury Lawyers coming up shortly. 3-1. Swing and a foul off 3-2. Let's do it right now. The injury report brought to you by Bergmanis Prera Personal Injury Lawyers. If life has thrown you a curveball and you're striking out with your insurance company, get ahead of the count and call Bergmanis Prera Personal Injury Lawyers. You focus on getting better, and Bergmanis Prera will take care of the rest. Visit bplawyers.ca. Before we get there, the 3-2 to Nootbaar. Swing and a liner center field, hangs up for Lucas, who runs into it, going to his left, and makes the catch. 1 down. Well, the one thing that happened pregame is that Leo Jimenez was in the starting lineup, and then the Blue Jays made a late change, bringing Addison Barger into the lineup and lifting Jimenez. Right index finger was what they cited for Leo, which is interesting because it was actually foot injuries that had kept him out, him fouling balls off his foot and being hit by pitches in the foot that had kept him out of the last several games. Pitch to Pedro Pages. And he chops it slowly to third. Play for De Los Santos, who just entered. He gloves and throws on to first in time. 2 outs.
Nice play right there by De Los Santos, coming right off the bench, and the ball finds him pretty soon. But yeah, some reconfiguration defensively for the Blue Jays, with Barger wasn't even supposed to be in the game, and now he's already played 2 positions today.
Barger out in left after Joey Loperfido was just lifted, and when we know more about that, we'll let you know. For now, though, 2 outs in Berrios facing Jordan Walker, who homered off of him last time he was up in the third. First pitch is hit very softly on the ground to third, and that's going to roll foul. 0-1. What we thought would be the biggest injury news entering the day, and might very well still maybe, is that Bo Bichette will play shortstop today for the Buffalo Bisons. DH'd and went 1 for 4 with an RBI base hit yesterday. John Schneider said something around 7-ish innings for Bichette today it usually matters a little more on how many at-bats he's going to get than defensive innings when you're talking about rehab. Oh, 1. Called strike, 0-2.
But that is good progress for Bo Bichette to get a base hit, to continue getting those defensive reps in, and just see more pitches, too. See pitches in a game environment.
2 down in the 0-2. Outside, ball 1. And playing on back-to-back days, too, and another thing for Bichette now to do. Bisons wrap up their series against Gwinnett tomorrow, and then they have a day off Monday, so do the Blue Jays, before Toronto goes to Texas. 1-2 pitch, check swing on a pitch, low appeal down to third. Phil Cuzzy says no swing. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jordan Walker. 1-1 ball game, top of the 5th. 2 outs and the base is empty. Berrios is 2-2. Down and away, ball 3. Good job being patient by Walker after falling behind 0-2. He's watched 3 straight miss the zone. Full count offering. Low ball 4, and Jordan Walker takes a 2-out walk to flip the lineup back over.
Strong offensive effort from the Cardinals' number 9 hitter with the home run and then drawing a walk.
A guy who's trying to finish off his season strong was actually the opening day right fielder for the Cardinals, but struggled mightily in April and spent most of the season at AAA. Mason Wynn is up. 2 outs, Walker on first, and the pitch. Inside and high, ball 1. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left is Ben Nicholson-Smith. Berrios dangling that right arm, now set at the belt. He kicks and fires. Breaking ball misses outside, 2-0, and Berrios has thrown balls on 6 straight pitches after being all over the strike zone for most of the day. Pete Walker hanging his head as he leans on the front railing of the Blue Jay dugout. 2-0 pitch, in there, strike 1. Righty starter peeks over at first base. One more look at Walker, and the pitch home. Foul tip. Win waylaid on that 92-mile-per-hour fastball. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It's a great pitch where even if Wynn makes contact with it on the lower part of the plate, outside corner, nice job by Berrios.
2 strikeouts for Berrios today, and one of them was against Mason Wynn. His 2-2. Swing and a chopper to third. Second play of the inning for De Los Santos. Gloves chest high, rifles to first to beat the speedy Wynn and end the inning. Nice first bit of action for Luis De Los Santos. 2 assists in the inning and a scoreless frame for Berrios, who strands the 2-out walk. 1-1 middle of the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This is John Paul Morosi. Coming up on the next episode of the SiriusXM podcast, The Road to Cooperstown, I sit down with Hall of Famer Jim Leland.
I think the Hall of Fame is about players. I felt like one of them, and I'm not sure I am, but I actually felt like a Hall of Famer, and because those Hall of Famers made me feel that way.
The Road to Cooperstown airs Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM 89, and the all-new SiriusXM app. New episodes drop every Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts.
The NFL Sunday Drive is your home for the 2024 regular season. Confident!
Blue Jays fans, insiders, thank you. Thank you for being here all season long with the Toronto Blue Jays right here on TSI. It's been a lot of fun. Unfortunately, the season hasn't gone the way we wanted it to, but it is what it is. We'll be back next year for sure. I just wanted to say thank you so much for being an insider. Thank you for being here in the chat, cheering on our Blue Jays. Now let's get back to it. We've only got a few games left in the season. Let's enjoy these young kids and see what they've got. Who's going to make the roster for next year? What's this team going to look like for next year? Chat it up. Let's talk about it. See you guys back in the chat. Go Blue Jays, go.
Everybody else thinks we're funny, but I think we're funny.
Why are you putting us or we into this?
The leadoff spot, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy football players, from start-sit decisions to waiver wire advice. Win your fantasy football league with Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87, and on the SiriusXM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the fifth in downtown Toronto. Nothing to separate these two sides right now. It's 1-1, Blue Jays and Cardinals. A good battle between Jose Berrios and Kyle Gibson, former twin teammates. Gibson, the Cardinals starter, misses up and in with a cutter to Addison Barger to start the home half of the fifth. Barger, Schneider, De Los Santos will hit this inning for the Blue Jays. Gibson winds, kicks, and offers. Called strike. Addison Barger with a fly out to center field in the first. That was off a sinker, bottom of the zone. 1-1. There's the breaking ball, a curve for strike two. Wondered if Gibson would feature the breaking ball much against Barger, because Barger slugged almost .450 against breaking balls this year. Best or better than fastballs or off-speed pitches. One ball and two strike count. Gibson's pitch. Swing and a broken bat flare. Shallow left center. That's going to get down for a base hit. Not exactly in the 110-mile-per-hour ropes that we see a lot from Addison Barger. Call it 61 off the bat and maybe 3 feet past Nolan Arenado for a leadoff single.
Just over his glove and hit so softly that Mason Wynn goes back and fields that ball in a bounce, a single bounce for the shortstop to get there, but good enough for Addison Barger to end up at first base with a single.
And here's Davis Schneider with Barger on first. Schneider with the home run today has the Blue Jays' lone run. Pitch from Gibson. Swing and a soft roller foul, third base side, fielded by Carlos Fablis. It's 0-1. For the last home run of Schneider's season, you have to go back to June 22nd at Cleveland. That was when the Blue Jays were in the middle of that really tough losing streak that kind of knocked them out of contention once and for all. 0-1. Called strike, 0-2. And funny enough, if memory serves, that one, like the one he hit today, also was hit the opposite way, which is not really what you think of when you think of Barger. You think more of pull side, or Schneider, pardon me. You think of pull side power. Barger on first, Schneider at the plate, and a step off and throw over by Gibson. Barger back easy.
Yeah, absolutely. We're more used to seeing Schneider maybe pull one down the line, Danny Jansen style, but he's tapped into the opposite field power this week with a triple earlier to right field and that homer.
Next pitch to Schneider, misses outside. Good snare there by Pages. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That one almost skipped back to the backside.
That was way outside. And Barger would have made it to second easily if that had gotten past the catcher.
One, 2. Outside again. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Luis De Los Santos on deck, and then the top of the order for the Blue Jays. 1-1 game. Runner on first. Nobody out in the bottom of the 5th. Gibson's 2-2. Swing and a liner. Caught on a leap at short by Wynn. 1 out. Didn't totally square it up, but it still was some decent contact from Schneider, and Wynn had to climb the ladder to make sure it didn't get to the outfield.
That's right. Mason Wynn listed at 5'11", goes up to get that ball, and Barger with the presence of mind to get back to first base in time.
1 out, and Luis De Los Santos will hit for the first time. Joey Loperfido was in this spot. First pitch, De Los Santos shows bunt, pulls it back, called strike. Presumably Loperfido out of the game with some sort of ailment. He doubled back in the 3rd inning, but came out defensively in the 5th, top of the 5th. Throw over to first, Barger back in. To my knowledge, the Blue Jays have not put anything out yet as to the condition of Lo Perfido. 0-1. Swing and a miss. Big hack there on the sweeper, 0-2.
Yeah, De Los Santos looked a little off balance on that swing. We'll see if Kyle Gibson and Pajes go back to that pitch right here with the count leverage now in their favor.
De Los Santos 4 for 16 in his major league career with a double and an RBI. 0-2. Checks his swing on a breaking ball down and away. Adjusted that time to De Los Santos and holds up to make it 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It's a good 0-2 pitch, but this time De Los Santos makes the adjustment and does not swing.
The 1-2. Swing and a bouncer to first. Snared by Goldschmidt. Throws over to second for 1. Win back to first. 3-6-3 double play to end the inning. All started by the 4-time Gold Glover Paul Goldschmidt, and that keeps it tied 1-1 going to the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hey, Blue Jays fans, are you ready to hit a home run with your next roof? Introducing GAF Timberline HDZ shingles, designed to keep your roof looking and feeling like a winner, rain or shine. GAF is proud to be the official shingle of the Toronto Blue Jays. Visit homedepot.ca and search GAF to learn more about how GAF Timberline HDZ roofing shingles can elevate your home to the next level. GAF, we protect what matters most.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Monday, September 23rd on City TV.
I like to know what my patients are experiencing to feel how they're feeling.
New series Brilliant Minds follows revolutionary neurologist Dr. Oliver Wolf.
You can't treat a patient without understanding who they really are.
As he explores the human mind.
You see the stuff the rest of us miss. It's a gift.
I choose to walk with my patients, find a path forward when nobody else will.
The series premiere of Brilliant Minds, Monday, September 23rd on City TV.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Out of here! Out of here! Davis Snyder wins it!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
6th inning in Toronto. Jose Berrios back out on the mound. Trying to keep this a 1-1 game. Blue Jays and Cardinals in game 2 of the series, and the sun's still shining over most of the diamond as Berrios steals to Alec Burleson. First pitch curve or slurve in there for strike 1. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left is Ben Nicholson-Smith. 0-1. Check swing, pitch way down and in. Appeal to third, no swing. 1 ball and 1 strike. It's 2-3-4 in the Cardinal order this inning. Burleson, Paul Goldschmidt, and Nolan Arenado. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Got him out in front on the changeup, 1-2. Take a bit of a risk when you throw the changeup to Burleson, even though Berrios loves it to lefties. Burleson hitting .393 against changeups this year with a slugging percentage near .700. Throws another change, misses outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Berrios looking at the baseball, now tucks it into his glove. His 84th pitch of the day. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Ugly whiff right there on the slurve for Berrios, his 3rd strikeout of the game. 1 out.
Yeah, that's a great pitch right there against a hitter who is tough to strike out, but Berrios able to fool Burleson and start this 6th inning off strong.
In a sec, we'll go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, but first, the longtime Diamondback and Cardinal Paul Goldschmidt up. The pitch. Called strike. Goldschmidt 0 for 2, lined out to short in the first. Ernie Clement made a leaping catch, and then he grounded out to second in the fourth, but Jose Berrios ran over to first base to make the catch on the end of that one. 0-1. Swing and a miss. Goldschmidt steps back into the righty box, open stance, knees bent. The 0-2. Swing and a high chopper to short on 2 bounces picked up by Clement. Throws over to first in time. 2 quick outs in the 6th inning for Jose Berrios.
And a really smooth play by Ernie Clement right there. He had tons of time with Paul Goldschmidt running up the first baseline, but Clement's still able to make that play very smoothly.
Clement potentially in line for a bid at the Gold Glove as a utility player in the American League or at third. He leads All-American League third baseman in defensive runs saved. And that's in limited time over there. 2 down, Nolan Arenado up. And the first pitch inside, ball 1. I would imagine Arenado has run out of space for his 10 Gold Gloves in his house. Only last year was his streak of 10 straight snaps by Ke'Bryan Hayes of Pittsburgh. 1-0. Down and away, 2-0.
Yeah, that's a lot of hardware.
It is, and from talking to Kevin Kiermaier early in the year, those things are heavy. They're a lot bigger than they might look from far away. It is not an insignificant thing. And Kiermaier had to make space for 4 of them and a platinum glove. 2-0. Swing and a liner caught by Davis Schneider in shallow right center to end the inning. 1-2-3 for Jose Berrios. He's retired the last 4 in a row, and he keeps it 1-1, middle of the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here's what's happening on Sirius XM Sports.
The college football season is rolling along. If it's a Saturday throughout the campaign, tune to the College Football Blitz to find out where the upsets are, as well as for instant updates, look-ins, interviews, highlights, and expert analysis on SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84, and the SXM app.
Sirius XM Sports. Wherever you are, your team plays here.
Blue Jays fans, your manager, John Schneider, joins MLB Network Radio every other Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern.
It took a little bit of time for this newer group to mesh a little bit and feel comfortable, but they're playing well. They're hitting the ball hard. We're hitting some more home runs, and it's been really nice to see these young guys come up and mature on the fly a little bit.
Managers at the mic on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM 89 and the Sirius XM app.
This is John Paul Morosi. Coming up on the next episode of the SiriusXM podcast, The Road to Cooperstown, I sit down with Hall of Famer Jim Leyland.
I think the Hall of Fame is about players. I felt like one of them, and I'm not sure I am. But I actually felt like a Hall of Famer, and because those Hall of Famers made me feel that way.
The Road to Cooperstown airs Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM 89, and the all-new SiriusXM app. New episodes drop every Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
Radio Network.
Bottom of the 6th, Blue Jays knotted up with the St. Louis Cardinals 1-1. Toronto trying to break that tie with the top of the order up. George Springer, Nathan Lucas, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will hit for the Blue Jays in this home half of the 6th. Kyle Gibson winds and delivers, and the first pitch is fouled off of his own body by Springer, who walks to pick it up from the infield turf. 0-1. George Springer 0 for 2 today. Looking to solve Kyle Gibson, which has been a tough task for Toronto all afternoon. 3 hits and 1 run. 0-1. Inside. In fact, all 3 hits for the Blue Jays have come from the bottom 3 spots in the order. Barger, the 7-hitter with 1. Schneider homered, and Loperfido, who's now out of the game, doubled from the 9 spot. 1-1. Springer hooks it on the ground to the hole in between short and third. Picked up by the third baseman, Arenado, who twists and turns over to first. The throw in time. And there's 1 out. Let's go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard. Pardon me, Ben. New York Mets, a team to watch for the St. Louis Cardinals, who are still on the fringes of playoff contention. And the Mets, after destroying the Phillies yesterday, are up 1-0 on Philadelphia in the bottom of the second today. Mets are 7 games up on the Cardinals for that last National League playoff spot. 0-1 to Nathan Lucas, or first pitch to Nathan Lucas with 1 out, called strike. Now it's 0-1. Lucas, a .314 hitter, 0 for 2 today. The pitch. Swing and a foul back into the seats, 0-2. Jose Berrios finished off the top of the 6th inning, having thrown 90 pitches. And Kyle Gibson on 79 here in the bottom of the 6th. The 0-2. Swing and a soft liner sinking in left center. That's going to get down for a base hit. Curveball below the zone. I think Gibson would throw that pitch again, but Lucas reached out and just poked it off the end of the bat for a 1-out knock.
Yeah, really nice job there by Nathan Lucas. Hitting in the 2 spot the last couple days, and he comes through with an opposite field hit.
Lucas now getting the sliding mitten on as he takes his lead off first. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. looks for his first hit today. He's 0 for 2. Gibson's pitch. Outside, ball 1.
Both starters working pretty efficiently today. I normally would think the Berrios is done after 90 pitches, but the bullpen is quiet. He's working on an extra day of rest. We saw Kevin Gausman go 7 yesterday, so he might come out for more.
1-0. Swing and a miss. Guerrero fooled there by the sweeper. 1 ball and 1 strike. Berrios did also throw only 90 in his last start, so with that and the extra rest, he got through the Goldschmidt-Arenado part of the order already as well. Turn and throw to first and a dive back from Lucas, who for a brief second made a move towards second base. He might have been going on that pitch.
And yesterday, I was a little surprised that they went to Gausman in the 7th inning. Today, I won't be surprised at all. I mean, it certainly looks like Berrios is going out for the 7th.
1-1. Foul off the end of the bat by Guerrero. It's 1-2.
And after a 1-2-3 inning in the 6th, and only 1 batter over the minimum in the 5th, he hasn't been taxed too hard at any point today, so would make all the sense in the world to see if you can get Berrios through 1 more.
No one up in the Blue Jay pen in left field. We saw a little movement, but no one throwing in the right field pen for the Cardinals. 1-2 to Vlad is high, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Gibson again got a little sneaky with a slide step there to a fastball, but it was too high to entice Guerrero. 2-2 count, 1 out, Nathan Lucas on first. Gibson's pitch. Downstairs, ball 3.
Little frustration there, seemingly, with Gibson wanting that pitch just a little higher. It's clearly a ball, but maybe not where he intended to throw it.
Righty steps off and lobs the ball over to first, diving back in safe as Lucas. That is the second disengagement of the plate appearance. It's a full count. Wouldn't be shocked if this was a spot where you get Lucas in motion.
I like that idea. I think that's a good call right here.
3-2 pitch. Lucas takes off and Guerrero hits it foul back behind the plate. Still 3-2.
And clearly John Schneider agreed with you from his spot in the dugout. He's the one making those calls. And Lucas taking off, got a reasonable jump and create a little activity here on the bases as the Jays try to take the lead.
Take some attention from Gibson and the catcher Pages and increase the chances that Lucas could score on a base hit from Vlad or gets a third on a single. Another big lead from Nathan Lucas, and he takes off again. 3-2 down and away, ball 4, so Lucas can slow down and stop at second. Guerrero gets rid of the shin guard and walks down to first. And there are 2 on with only 1 out.
This is a good chance for the Blue Jays here. Spencer Horwitz up facing a right-handed hitter. 3rd time today that he's seen Gibson, having walked his last time up. So this is one of their better chances to create a bit of a lead in a game they have yet to have an edge in.
1-1, first and second one out. The first pitch to Horwitz is hit just right back foul over the netting and below our feet. 0-1. Thought there might be action in the Cardinal pen after that last walk, but rather it was the Blue Jays pen that started to get a little active. Ryan Burr is stretching right now in the left field bullpen. 0-1. Fastball just off the plate outside. Pages thought it was a strike. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, Cardinals showing some faith in Gibson here with no one throwing in the bullpen yet.
Next pitch for Gibson is his 90th. Pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Really nice change up there to fool Horwitz. Swung at a pitch in the dirt. It's 1-2. Ryan Burr now throwing for the Blue Jays in left field, and there is action as Ryan Fernandez is throwing for the Cardinals in right field. Blue Jays saw Fernandez yesterday in the 10th and 11th innings. One-two to Horwitz. Inside, started to swing, but yanked the hands back. 2-2.
It's a good take by Spencer Horwitz here.
Horwitz trying to drive in Lucas from second. Guerrero on first, 2-2. Inside again, ball 3. Gibson staring at Lucas, the runner on second base. 3-2 pitch. In the dirt, ball 4. Horwitz dumps the bat away and takes off the shin guard himself. He'll head down to first with a walk. Back-to-back walks, and the bases are loaded with 1 out for the Blue Jays.
Kyle Gibson, normally someone who is able to throw strikes and induce contact, has lost the zone a little bit here against 2 very disciplined hitters in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Spencer Horwitz. And as a result, the Blue Jays in a real position to score their second run of this game.
Dusty Blake, the pitching coach, is going out to the mound. So Kyle Gibson, it appears, will try to get out of this jam himself rather than have the bullpen come in. It's bases loaded, 1 out, 1-1 game, bottom of the 6th. And because he gets so much soft contact, Kyle Gibson coming into this game was 4th in Major League Baseball in double plays induced at 19 this year. Jose Berrios was 1 spot ahead of him at 20. And there already has been 1 ground ball double play in this game. It came last inning, a 3-6-3 double play that got both Addison Barger and Luis De Los Santos.
Ernie Clement has grounded into 8 double plays this year, but he's pretty fast, so that's not an easy guy to double up.
Yeah, you got to hit it, for Clement's perspective, to the wrong spot, the exact wrong spot, if you're going to end up in a double play. Infield is at double play depth. Bases loaded, 1 out. And the pitch to Ernie Clement from Kyle Gibson. Outside, ball 1. Clement enters this game batting .333 in 10 September games. On the season, he's a .267 hitter, 47 RBIs. 1-0. Swing and a 1-hopper to short. Wynn snares it, throws to the plate, bounces it in, but Pages dropped it, and everybody's safe. Mason Wynn skipped it to the plate. Pages was trying to play a little first base as the catcher and make the pick in the catcher's mitt, and it bounced off of him and fell down to the ground. Lucas hard-charging scores. Guerrero up to third. Horwitz to second, and for Clement, it's an RBI fielder's choice.
Well, this should have been a relatively routine play for the Cardinals because it was hit to Mason Wynn, who had enough time to make the throw home, but the throw was not very good. It was not strong enough from someone who's known for his arm strength. And then Pages continues to look a little uncertain in his handling of some plays at home plate. So the Blue Jays score that second run, and they continue to threaten.
Bases loaded, still one out. Blue Jays leading now for the first time today. It's 2-1 Toronto, and Kyle Gibson has been knocked out of this game. As Ollie Marmol goes into his bullpen, let's go over to our host today. Here's Show Ali.
Thanks very much, guys, and let's check the out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. We'll start in the NBA. Some news for the Raptors. Raptors adjacent. Former Raptors second-round pick Christian Koloko has officially made his return to the NBA, but he is signing with the Los Angeles Lakers. If you recall, Koloko had been waived by the Raptors in January after being diagnosed with what had been called a respiratory issue. The Athletic Shams Charania had reported later it was a blood clot issue. Either way, the NBA's Fitness to Play panel has cleared him to return, and he will now be a Laker. In the NHL, we are getting some games. The preseason getting started for real in about a week's time. The regular season itself will start at the beginning of October, but a variety of prospect games this weekend across the league as training camp ramps up. For the Toronto Maple Leafs, they down the Montreal Canadiens in what's being called the Rookie Showdown. 4-3, the Leafs win in a shootout. Easton Cowan, Fraser Minton scoring the two shootout goals to secure the win at the Bell Center in Montreal. They'll play again tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. Later tonight, UFC 304 gets going in Vegas. Sean O'Malley will take on Merab Dvalishvili in the main event. O'Malley looking to defend his belt in the bantamweight title fight. The co-main event will see the women's flyweight title bout as well. Alexa Grasso will try and defend her belt against Valentina Shevchenko. The main card expected to get started around 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. You can order the event on sportsnetplus.ca/UFC. And some footy scores across the pond. Brighton and Ipswich playing to a 0-0 draw. Fulham and West Ham playing to a 1-1 draw. Elsewhere, Nottingham Forest beating Liverpool 1-0 at Anfield. It's the first time Nottingham Forest had beaten Liverpool at home in 55 years. Blue Jays baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action. Here's Ben Schulman and Ben Nicholson-Smith.
Thank you, Show. Ryan Fernandez in the game, the reliever who was in when the Cardinals lost it in the 11th yesterday, and he pitches against the guy who walked it off for the Blue Jays. Alejandro Kirk up, bases loaded, 1 out, and the first pitch is hit back foul, 0-1. It was bases loaded, 1 out yesterday in the 11th when Kirk hit a deep fly ball to the warning track. Cardinals outfielders were in anyway, so it got down for a walk-off single. Toronto up 2-1 now, 1 out bottom of the 6th, and the 0-1. Fouled back again. Kirk has chased 2 high fastballs, and it's 0-2. The rookie right-hander Fernandez making his 57th appearance, 321 earned run average, and just under 62 innings of work. Walks have been a bit of a problem for him this year. However, he's gotten ahead of Kirk 0-2. Righty's pitch. Swing and a foul ball off to the right, out of play.
Kirk in protect mode right there, and he is as good as anyone at putting the bat on the ball.
Bases are loaded for the Blue Jays. Another 0-2. And another foul back. Kirk has been offering at these fastballs up above the zone, but he's got a piece of all of them.
We saw that from Ernie Clement yesterday. Kirk, someone who has some really good bat-to-ball skills like his teammate Clement. Vlad Jr. also in that category.
Vlad on third, Clement on first, Horwitz on second, 0-2. Outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. If you weren't with us before the pitching change, the Blue Jays just took the lead on a failed fielder's choice. Ernie Clement with the bases loaded hit a ground ball to short. Mason Wynn bounced the throw to the plate, and Nathan Lucas slid in before Pedro Pages could grab the ball. 1-2, and Kirk pokes it softly on the ground to second, and the only play is over to first. Underhand flip by Sajazi. Guerrero running hard, made a play at the plate, null, and it's 3-1 now on the RBI ground out by Alejandro Kirk.
Well, oftentimes 1 out, bases loaded, Alejandro Kirk at the plate, and he hits a ground ball. That can spell trouble for the Blue Jays. But in this case, it was hit so softly that the Cardinals didn't have time to get it to home plate with Vlad Guerrero Jr. charging in. They only had 1 play, and that was to first base, so that works in the Blue Jays' favor.
Toronto now taking a 3-1 lead and still a chance to add on more. Second and third, 2 outs. Addison Barger to the plate. Barger 1 for 2 on the day. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Big hack by Barger on the fastball, 0-1. Spencer Horwitz is on third now. Ernie Clement is on second. 0-1. Outside. Two fastballs so far from Fernandez to Barger. First the cutter, then the four-seamer. Also throws a slider. 1-1. Swing and a ground ball through the whole right side, a base hit into right field. In to score Horwitz. Late stop sign for Clement. He'll scramble back to third, but it's 4-1 Blue Jays. Barger with his second hit and first RBI of the day.
And Barger hit that one hard, hammering it through the right side. But otherwise, this rally where the Blue Jays have scored 3 runs here in the bottom of the 6th inning, it has not come from a lot of hard contact. Nathan Lucas started it off with a flare to left field, a couple of walks in there, a fielder's choice, an RBI ground out. So the Blue Jays have really put this together, and then Barger adding on with the hardest hit ball of the inning.
The walk's really killer in this one. And now there's going to be a mound visit out to Ryan Fernandez, who has faced 2 batters, got a ground out, and then gave up a ground ball base hit. And they can't make a pitching change here, so this has just got to be more of a discussion with Fernandez before Davis Schneider comes up to the plate.
And more solid work from the bottom of the Blue Jays batting order. Davis Schneider, of course, got it started with the home run in the 3rd inning, but that's now 2 hits, as you mentioned, Ben, for Addison Barger. And Lo Profito, before he was taken out of the game, had that double. So they are getting contributions from guys beyond Springer and Vlad Jr. and Horwitz.
The majority of the offense has come from the bottom of the order. This inning, the top got more involved, but they were walked a lot of the time. Barger just had the first RBI hit of the inning. Mound visit over. First and third for the Blue Jays, up 4-1 in the bottom of the 6th. Davis Schneider at the plate. Pitch from Fernandez. Fastball in there, 0-1. Some chance for Davis Schneider amongst the crowd. 0-1. Swing and a liner. Left field, down for a base hit. And to score, Ernie Clement up to second. Addison Barger make it a 2-hit, 2 RBI day for Davis Schneider. 5-1 Blue Jays.
So encouraging for the Blue Jays to have a 2-hit day like this from Davis Schneider. This time he pulls the ball, more reminiscent of what we saw from Davis Schneider early this season and late last year. Of course, he had the opposite field home run earlier today. So a big day offensively for Schneider.
Still threatening are the Blue Jays. 2 on, 2 outs. Luis De Los Santos takes in ball 1. Ryan Burr has continued to throw this inning, and you do wonder with the length of the inning now and maybe the size of the lead if Jose Berrios' day is going to be cut short. De Los Santos takes outside, 2-0.
Yeah, at a certain point, if he starts to cool down and you've built a little bit of a cushion, then it becomes that much easier to turn it over to Ryan Burr.
2-0. Called strike, 96 at the knees. And Fernandez back into the count. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. 4-run bottom of the 6th for the Blue Jays, up 5-1. Barger on second, Schneider on first. 2-1 pitch. Check swing, outside, 3 balls and 1 strike. A lot of energy from De Los Santos at the plate. Takes that one and quick turn to walk back, feeling good as he steps back into the box. 3-1. Swing and a little chopper to third base. Charging Arenado. Bare hands. Throws on to first in time to end the inning. How many times have you seen Nolan Arenado make that play? He does it to end the bottom of the 6th, but not before the Blue Jays score 4 runs on 3 hits. They leave a pair on and take a 5-1 lead to the 7th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
Which Looney Dogger are you? The fork and knifer, splatterer, condiment queen, or Big Dipper? This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. You will have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the stadium. Then show the world your Looney Dog style. Because whether you're the mustard maven or ketchup king, no Blue Jays game is complete without hot dogs. So don't miss out on this deal. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's, every Tuesday home game.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Kirk smacks it down the left field line. This one's got a chance. It's good!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
7th inning, and Jose Berrios takes the mound once again for the Blue Jays. 5-1 Toronto leads on a big bottom of the 6th. And Berrios will face the number 5 hitter in the Cardinal lineup to start this frame. It's Brendan Donovan. Right-hander with a breath, looking in, kicks and fires. And it's a fastball just off the plate outside, ball 1. What do you think here? Jose Berrios back up.
It's an interesting call, and I think from a workload standpoint, he's ready for it.
1-0. Swing and a one-hopper to short. Backhanded by Clement. Clutches and throws to first, 1 out.
Because the pitch count is reasonable at this point in the low 90s, and he hasn't had too many stressful innings. So it's really, to me, a question of how long is he going to be in the dugout? Is he going to get too cooled down to the point that it just makes sense to take him out of the game? But he's been really efficient, and that continued with the at-bat against Donovan.
You talk about pitching with a little bit less stress. Helps when your team does score 4 runs, too. Now Berrios can be very direct here. He deals to Thomas Sajazi. Swing and a ground ball over the mound. Picked up at second base by Schneider. Long throw to first, but it's there in time. 3 pitches have yielded 2 outs for Berrios.
And that's just so characteristic of him today and really all season long. A nice play right there by Davis Schneider after that ball went under Berrios' feet toward the second base bag.
Two down, Lars Nootbaar up. Left-handed hitter, the pitch. Called strike. Berrios and Gibson had gone tit for tat most of the day, but it looks like their starts are ending in very different fashions. Gibson charged with 4 runs in the 6th, 0-1, low 1-1. Although, because of the error on the fielder's choice, all 4 of those runs in the 6th right now are not being charged as earned against Gibson, because Lucas shouldn't have scored, and then Kirk hits an RBI groundout. That would have just been an inning-ending groundout. So it's 5 runs allowed for Gibson today, but only 1 earned. 1-1 pitch, called strike, 1-2.
Right, and it's always tricky with the earned, unearned. You know, the runs they scored, but I do think that it makes sense to try to create some separation between the pitcher and the defenders.
1-2. Called strike 3. Berrios freezes Nootbaar on a front hip sinker. Points his glove out at Kirk as he's finished off a 7th inning of work. 7th inning stretch, and it's 5-1 Blue Jays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
It's time to celebrate you with the party at the ballpark. On Friday, September 27th, dial up your fall wardrobe with the Blue Jays Fanal Giveaway presented by TD.
They go back-to-back in the bottom of the 9th. How much fun was that? It is loud here at Rogers Center, and 40,000 are chanting his name.
Get ready for good vibes and a chance to win great prizes.
What a weekend for the Blue Jays.
Fan Appreciation Weekend, presented by TD, September 27th, 28th, and 29th. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Ontario is helping you keep more of what's yours. We cut the gas tax and scrap the license plate sticker fee and drive clean program for most vehicles, saving drivers across the province hundreds of dollars each and every year. Learn more about how you're saving more at ontario.ca/keeping costs down. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
He rocks the ball to left field. The Blue Jays have gone back-to-back-to-back.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the 7th on a beautiful afternoon in downtown Toronto. Blue Jays are leading the St. Louis Cardinals 5-1. Toronto trying to guarantee a series win with a victory today, and they'll send the top of the order back up to the plate after 9 Blue Jays batted in the 6th. New reliever for the Cardinals, Riley O'Brien, zips in a fastball at 97 at the knees for strike one against George Springer. O'Brien curls back and delivers, and Springer hits a breaking ball up in the air foul, 0-2. For Riley O'Brien, it's his 8th appearance of the year and 10th of his major league career. 6 innings this season with St. Louis. He's allowed 8 earned runs, in part because he's walked 7. 0-2 pitch, down and away, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Big stuff, though, for the righty. 97-mile-per-hour sinker, 90-mile-per-hour slider, and a low 80s curve. 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3, blows 98 past Springer for the first out.
Big velocity there from O'Brien, and Springer not able to catch up to that one.
O'Brien, originally a draft pick of the Rays in the 8th round in 2017 out of the College of Idaho. Traded to the Reds, DFA'd by the Reds, spent a little bit of time in Seattle, DFA'd by Seattle, and now with the Cardinals, traded there after he was DFA'd this past November. Nathan Lucas steps up and takes strike 1. 5-1 Blue Jays, 1 out, bases empty. And the 0-1. Down and in, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Got to say, these Cardinals baby blue road uniforms, they are incredible.
They're really good. 1-1. Lucas lines it foul, 1-2. Wave going around Rogers Center right now. A full 3-level wave. Moving around from the left field pole across to center field and all the way to the right field pole. Sun shining on the baby blue uniform of O'Brien. His next pitch to Lucas is swatted foul on the ground. I think if I was going to pick my favorite baby blue jerseys, because those are just about the best jerseys in baseball, it's the Blue Jays, obviously. It's the Cardinals and the Phillies baby blue I tend to enjoy a lot.
Yeah, I like the Twins.
Twins is nice.
I think the Cardinals have the best baby blue.
1-2. Swing and a grounder over the first base bag, rolling fair into the right field corner. Lucas around first, headed to second. He's going to burn around second and head for third. Relay throw is cut off and bounces in late. Win double clutch, and Nathan Lucas has a 1-out triple.
Aggressive base running from Nathan Lucas there, forcing the Cardinals to make some really good relay throws, and they were not up to the challenge in this instance because Mason Wynn had a play at third, but as you said, he had some trouble unloading that one, and so Nathan Lucas here with his second hit in the last 2 innings, really contributing on both sides of the ball today.
Truthfully, I thought Wynn was just cutting it off, and then he turned and bounced a very late throw-in. Infield in now, and the pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. misses down and away, ball 1. We've seen some of the flashes of talent, but also inexperience from Wynn at shortstop these past 2 days. 1-0. Low 2-0.
You would think, too, that his teammates would be yelling 3 with urgency at that point to let him know that they did have a play.
Yeah, maybe the crowd being loud drowned out Nolan Arenado trying to give directions from third. 2-0. Swing and a bouncer foul to the right. Guerrero just pounded that one into the dirt circle. 2-1. Lucas leading off third, 1 out. 5-1 Blue Jays bottom 7, and the pitch to Guerrero. Swinging a liner up the middle and into center field, a base hit. Jogging home Lucas. Guerrero stops at first. He's got an RBI single, and the Blue Jays are up 6-1.
And that's where Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is showing off the talent that makes him a .320 hitter this year. He's able to hit that one back through the middle at 112 miles per hour. And it wasn't a home run swing, but it was more than enough to get the Blue Jays an extra run right here and expand their lead to 6-1.
And for Guerrero, it was his 500th career RBI, becoming the second fastest Blue Jay to 500 RBIs. Only Carlos Delgado getting there quicker with the Blue Jays. First pitch low to Spencer Horwitz, 1-0. For Vlad, 806 games.
Right, I was just going to say, I presume that's by games.
Yes, 1-0. Inside, 2-0.
But Vladdy Jr. is just 25 years old. I mean, this is a very young player doing a lot of things when it comes to his production at the plate.
Low 3-0. And yeah, you make that point games-wise because for Delgado, he did it in 2000 where he was 28 years old. He did not come up or establish himself at least as young as Guerrero did. 3-0 pitch. Called strike, 3-1.
And if you're in the offensive company of Carlos Delgado in the history of this franchise, that is a great place to be.
Guerrero looking into the sun and Delgado's name over in the left field corner on the level of excellence. 3-1 pitch. Horwitz hits it back foul, 3-2. Should Guerrero end up committing to the Blue Jays long-term and vice versa, you could imagine that he will be chasing down a lot of things that Carlos Delgado has done, setting plenty of Blue Jays offensive records. Vlad on first, 6-1 Blue Jays, 1 out, and the 3-2 to Horwitz. Down and in, ball 4, and what a Spencer Horwitz day. It's been third walk of the day for the left-handed hitter.
That's really impressive. I mean, reaching base against Major League pitching is never easy, and clearly they're respecting the fact that he can do some damage in the zone, and when they go outside of the strike zone, he is disciplined enough to take it and get those free bases.
That'll prompt a visit out to the mound. The Cardinals have been comfortable meeting on that mound recently over the last 2 innings. A lot of visits. And this is going to be one from Dusty Blake rather than Ollie Marmol. As they talk to Riley O'Brien, who entered the ball game and gave up a triple to Nathan Lucas, a single to Guerrero, and a walk to Spencer Horwitz after getting a strikeout. With the meeting on the mound going on, let's go over to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard quickly, where the Mets were up 4-0 on the Philadelphia Phillies, but Bryce Harper, with his 27th home run of the season, has made it 4-1, putting Philadelphia on the board. All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Dusty Blake walking back to the Cardinal dugout, and Riley O'Brien stepping back on the hill. Two on, 1 out. The pitch to Ernie Clement. Check swing, pitch down and away. Appeal down to first. He didn't go. So it's ball 1. 1-0. Outside 2-0. By the way, as that mound visit was going on, the Blue Jays have released an update on Joey Loperfido, removed from today's game with left adductor muscle discomfort. Next pitch to Clement, runs inside 3-0, and that's kind of the hip area. It was interesting when Loperfido doubled and thought about a triple, he did kind of awkwardly stumble over the base. Just purely speculating here, but perhaps that caused it. 3-0 pitch called strike, 3-1.
Yeah, either way, that is not good news. We suspected that the news was not good, obviously, and if a player is leaving midway through a game. So we'll have to learn more from manager John Schneider as to the severity of that discomfort.
3-1 to Clement. Swing and a high pop-up. The shortstop Wynn going back out into shallow left. He gives way to the left fielder, Donovan, who squeezes it with one hand. And there are 2 outs. Because it happened to come down pretty much at the same time on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, MLB trade rumors reporting that Tyler Glasnow highly unlikely to return for the Dodgers this year. Glasnow had a setback while working back from an elbow sprain, and that's a huge blow to a World Series hopeful in the Dodgers. 2 down, 2 on, Alejandro Kirk. First pitch is hit on the ground, left side, past the dive of the shortstop Win. They're giving the wave to Guerrero around third. Throw to the plate, cut off. Guerrero dives in head first. 7-1 Blue Jays.
That's a great read by Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Of course, with 2 outs, he's running on anything, but he gets a good sense of how this ball is traveling to the outfield and knows he has a chance to score. So he avoids Nolan Arenado rounding third base, and he's able to score to extend this lead even more.
RBI base hit for Alejandro Kirk, who now has hits in 10 straight games. Kirk on first, Horwitz on second, Addison Barger up, and the pitch. Breaking ball, low, ball 1. And you wonder how much longer Riley O'Brien will go. The righty reliever who came on this inning is approaching 30 pitches. Next offering, Barger checks his swing and takes a strike down the middle, 1-1.
And that's back-to-back 2 RBI games from Alejandro Kirk here in the final month of the season, continuing to find ways to contribute offensively.
Up to 48 RBIs now on the season. 1-1 is low, 2-1 in 92 games. Not that any catcher is going to play 162, but you're looking at somewhere in the 80s pace-wise over a 162-game season for Kirk RBIs. 2-1. Down and in. 3 balls and 1 strike. Hitters count for Addison Barger, who likes to unleash a big swing. 2 on, 2 out, the 3-1. Swing and a chopper to second. Picked up there by Sajazi. Routine throw over to first to end the inning. The Blue Jays add on 2 more runs on 3 more hits. They do leave a pair on base, but it's 7-1 Toronto going to the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Sports Grid Radio on Sirius XM has you covered this NFL season.
Week 2 wraps up with the new look Atlanta Falcons traveling north to take on Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. The line opened with the Eagles as a 4.5-point favorite and a total at 48.5. Make sure you tune into Sports Grid Radio to stay up to date on all the latest.
The place to get the winning edge over the sports books this football season is Sports Grid Radio. Channel 159 in the car and on the Sirius XM app.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball?
Hey baseball fans, thank you again for hanging out with us tonight. Are you new here or are you already an insider? Have you hit that subscribe button yet? If you're new, please hit it and turn on that bell so you don't miss it when we go live for any of our live Toronto sports games. Whether it's the Blue Jays here, we're finishing the season up with them. We're going to be going live for every single MLB playoff game as well as the start of hockey season, basketball season. We've got the Bills live right here on TSI. Argos, thank you for being a Toronto sports fan. Thanks for being a sports fan in general. Now let's get back to the chat. Hope you're having fun. Chat it up. Go Jays, go.
plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, and much, much, much more. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Hi, this is Alexa. Did you know you can listen to this game on devices with Amazon Alexa? Download the SiriusXM app, then tell me to play the Blue Jays on SiriusXM.
Radio Network.
Top of the 8th inning in downtown Toronto. The Blue Jays 7 and the Cardinals 1 at Rogers Center. I'm Ben Shulman alongside Ben Nicholson-Smith. Thanks so much for spending your Saturday afternoon/evening with us. New pitcher for the Blue Jays now. Jose Berrios out of the game. Ryan Burr enters and pitches to Pedro Pajes. Fastball for strike one. Fantastic day for Jose Berrios and the Blue Jays. 0-1. Outside 1-1. Berrios goes 7 innings today, allows only 2 hits and 1 earned run. He walked a pair and struck out 4. 1-1. Swing and a high fly ball, shallow right center field. Lucas started back, now moving in, and George Springer makes the call and the catch. Lucas backed out of the way last second, and they're chuckling at each other. 1 out.
Yeah, Berrios was great today, and he pitched really well. The Blue Jays are playing well against the Cardinals this weekend with the walk-off win yesterday, up 7-1 today, backed by Kevin Gausman with a really strong start yesterday, and Jose Berrios again today.
Pitch to Jordan Walker is low ball 1, and Walker was really the only guy that gave Berrios any trouble today. He hit a solo homer and walked. Berrios never got him out. 1-0. Low 2-0. For Berrios now, he leaves in line for a 7th straight pitcher win. Not even the team winning, but him being in line for a 7th straight win. And now there's some concern. Voon Chong and John Schneider are jogging out to the mound, and it looks like there might be a health-related issue here with Ryan Burr.
And Vlad Guerrero Jr. seemed to call them out a moment before they jogged out there. He's on the mound now along with Kirk and Luis de los Santos discussing this.
Burr kind of winced and put his hand on his right hip after the last pitch. He threw a thumbs up when guys were coming out, but you could see because he's a righty and he turns to the first base side, he would have winced right in the direction of Guerrero, and maybe that's what alerted Vlad.
Yeah, that's a good call. And then you could see Ryan Burr telling the dugout, I'm good, giving them the thumbs up, and that seems to be what he told them on the mound because he's still on there.
28th appearance of the season for Burr, and this has obviously been a huge stretch for him. Once in his major league career, he's made more appearances than this year, 2021 with the White Sox. Next pitch, swing and a miss by Walker. Top of the zone, fastball gets the whiff. It's 2-1.
Just in case, it looks like the Blue Jays just placed a call down to the bullpen, which is quiet now.
2-1. Fastball again over the plate. That one at 95, 2-2. Burr with a breath, set at the belt. His 2-2. High and outside, ball 3. Walker up now, then Mason Wynn in the top of the Cardinal order. 1 out, top of the 8th, 7-1 Blue Jays. And the 3-2 pitch. Fastball, called strike 3. Took it right down the middle, did Walker, and he starts walking back to the dugout, 2 outs.
Well, Burr recovering from that little bit of discomfort on the mound, attacking here against Jordan Walker with a fastball right down the middle of 94, and Walker just didn't swing.
Clearly must have had the slider on his mind maybe and helped out Burr, who's a fastball slider guy. Now his pitch to Mason Wynn is a fastball right down the middle for strike 1. Zach Pop is throwing for the Blue Jays, by the way, in left field. 0-1. Wynn swings and hits it on the ground right at the second baseman Schneider. Vacuumed up and tossed over to first to end the inning. 1-2-3 for Ryan Burr in the 8th, and the Blue Jays are back to the bats. Schneider, De Los Santos, Springer. When we return, it's 7-1 Blue Jays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
October 3rd on City TV.
You're safe. I got you.
Law & Order Thursday returns with all new seasons of Law & Order.
I love this job, and I love trying cases.
And Olivia Benson is back with Law & Order SVU.
I've dedicated my life to helping victims. So you're not giving up on us? Giving up? I'm just getting started.
Law & Order Thursday premieres October 3rd on City TV or stream it on City TV Plus.
Hey, this is Kevin Gosman. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the 8th inning, 7-1. The Blue Jays leading the St. Louis Cardinals. Davis Schneider leads off, and the first pitch from reliever Riley O'Brien is in there for strike one. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Ben Nicholson-Smith. 0-1. Check swing called strike, 0-2. Some more Let's Go Schneider chants were going on when Davis Schneider got up to the plate. He's had a very nice day. 2 for 3 with a pair of RBIs, one coming on a home run. 0-2. Swinging a broken bat liner, shallow center, and down past the leap of Sajazi, the second baseman. When it's your day, it's your day. Schneider just pokes that one over the infield for his third knock.
Well, he's done it all right now. The broken bat hit to center field. We've seen him pull a base hit to left field and hit the home run to right field. So he's hitting to all fields. Sometimes the contact is great. Sometimes the contact is not as great as it was right there, but he's still got 3 hits and his biggest offensive game in months.
Schneider on first. Luis de los Santos is up. And something's going on at third base. Arenado dropped his glove. And I think he might have hurt his hand, or looks like there might have been a rock in his glove. He's banging his glove on the side of him and looking at the outside of his fingers on his left hand, and he looks to have really hurt himself in a way. He is hunched over in obvious discomfort, slapping his glove again. I think his pinky was what was affected, and maybe a pebble or something slipped in there and cut his finger.
Yeah, that's an unusual one. He continues to examine that finger on his left hand, his pinky finger.
Adam Olson, the trainer, and Ollie Marmol, the manager, out to check on Arenado, the star third baseman. And he didn't make a play recently, nor has he gone up to the plate in a couple innings.
What happened was he put his hand back into the glove after removing it between pitches and abruptly took it out. So it was as though he had hit his hand on something sharp and unexpected.
I mean, did a bee fly into his glove or something? Like, this is... They keep smacking it. Arenado's inspecting the outside of his hand. He appears to be all right.
Yeah, that's an unusual one. Hopefully he's okay. Seems like he's ready to continue.
He's still inspecting his pinky. And that's all we know for now. So I'm not sure. We did have a couple days ago a game stopped for a bee when Lindor was dealing with one on his glove. Luis de los Santos up, and now the pitch is hit foul into the first base dugout, 0-1.
Looks like Mason Wynn has some of the same questions we do. Arenado explaining it to the Cardinals shortstop right now.
And Arenado's still pulling his hand out of his glove in between pitches. The 0-1. Called low, looked pretty good on the outside corner from O'Brien. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. 7-1 Blue Jays. Runner on first, Schneider. Nobody out, bottom of the 8th. 1-1. Swing and a foul off to the right. A ball and 2 strikes. Interesting development in the left field bullpen. Luis Frias is warming up for the Blue Jays, presumably to make his 3rd appearance as a Toronto Blue Jay. Had one not so great one on the road and one pretty nice one at home. 1-2. Check swing, pitch down and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, this is the time to use a pitcher like Frias, someone you're still trying to get a read on and learn what he can do. 6-run lead.
2-2 pitch. Foul tip, strike 3. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. 1 out, 1 on. The pitch to George Springer. Fouled off to the right. 0-1.
Including baby blues or anything. Do you think there's a number 1 road uniform in baseball?
Oh. It's like traditional road uniform, not counting City Connect.
Yeah.
Because that's not a road uniform, I guess. A City Connect you'd only wear at home.
Yeah.
0-1. Hit back foul, 0-2.
Because I have one.
You go ahead then first.
Okay. I think it's the New York Yankees. I mean, just the simple gray New York on the chest.
It's a good one.
It's really good.
We're going to sound really East Coast biased. I was going to go with the Mets. 0-2. Swinging a ball hit foul, still 0-2. Although they wear the black jerseys at home, right? Not on the road. So actually I was thinking of the wrong... I'm trying to think of road jerseys who I like the most.
Here's another one.
Yeah.
When the A's wear the green top.
That's my favorite. That is my favorite. I'm hoping they keep the green and yellow into Sacramento and Vegas. We'll have to wait and see. 0-2. Fouled back by Springer. Still 0-2. But if the Raiders can go from Oakland to Vegas and generally keep the same branding, then why can't the iconic A's branding also stick around into Vegas too?
I hope they keep it. I really hope they keep it. So many great players have worn that jersey.
Oh, 2. Downstairs, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And that jersey, or that color scheme, has transcended just Oakland. I mean, Kansas City and Philadelphia Athletics before that. 7-1 Blue Jays, bottom of the 8th. Runner on first, 1 out, and the 1-2 to Springer. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Riley O'Brien about to throw his 45th pitch of this relief appearance. Gave up 2 runs on 3 hits in the 7th. His 2-2. Check swing, pitch in the dirt, ball 3. Springer taps the plate, then his front foot, and brings the bat above his right shoulder. 3-2 pitch. Called, strike 3. 97 on the outside corner gets Springer, and there are 2 down.
Springer doesn't like the call, and neither do many of the fans here at Rogers Center, but that pitch was over the plate for a strike on the outside part of the zone.
Just perfect placement, really, from Riley O'Brien, who's been hit and miss location-wise, but pumped that one in on the outside corner at 97. Nathan Lucas up to the plate. He tripled off O'Brien last inning. The pitch. Swing and a foul back, 0-1. And we were talking about, seeing Lucas most often in spring. We're getting some more consistent looks at Lucas these days, and I think he is somewhat reaffirming that, whether it would be for the Blue Jays or someone else, that he is the quality of player that should be in the major leagues.
I agree with that.
0-1. Outside, 1-1.
Yeah, he's certainly handling every situation with the poise and professionalism and making hard contact, making the plays in the outfield. It's a good combination of skills.
1-1. fouled back 1-2. And the frequency with which he would play, the role he has, that would probably depend on a team, where they are, and what their roster composition is. It's been a tough fit with the Blue Jays because they've had really strong defensive center fielders who bat from the left side between Kiermaier and Varsho. So Lucas is a little redundant in that situation. 1-2. Hit foul again, 1-2, but if there were more right-handed outfielders, or if a team is looking for defensive help in center field, I don't see how you wouldn't at least think about Nathan Lucas.
Well, especially when you're building a bench, you need to have someone who can play center field. And the Blue Jays, going into this year with Varsho and Kiermaier, that's as good as you're going to get defensively for that combination. But not every team has that depth of defense.
1-2. Chopper to first, sliding stop by Goldschmidt. He'll get up, step on the bag, and retire Lucas to end the inning. Leadoff hit, stranded, and we go to the ninth. Blue Jays up 7-1 on the Cardinals, 3 outs away from a series victory. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Innovator, icon, GOAT. What up, it's your man LL Cool J. Take a ride through stories and sounds direct from one of the game's all-time greats on a new limited engagement channel. Featuring songs from my classic and timeless albums. Don't call it a comeback. To my new star-studded joint.
Is you cool with that, daddy? Yeah.
And exclusive LL mixes by some of hip-hop's best DJs, you know what I mean? LL Cool J's The Force Channel. I'm the player that you're talking about. On now, channel 79, and at home on the SiriusXM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio, every night on SiriusXM Channel 89, and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
Hello, Blue Jay fans. I'm Craig Ballard, host of your daily Locked On Blue Jays podcast. Locked On Blue Jays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Locked On Blue Jays brings you the latest Blue Jays news and analysis and breaks down all of the action. Locked On Blue Jays is everything a Blue Jays fan could want, all in a 30-minute daily podcast. Download Locked On Blue Jays right now on the SXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or wherever you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Blue Jays.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Ben Nicholson-Smith. Our host today, Sho Ali. Our producer, Nick Blackmore. And our technical directors are Tom Young and Andrew Adams. Sho Ali and Daniele Franceschi have Blue Jays talk coming up after the game. But first, the top of the ninth. Toronto up 7-1 and Luis Frias in. He deals to Alec Burleson and misses up high, ball 1. For Frias, his third appearance as a Blue Jay. Gave up 4 in an inning in his first one. 1-0 is a called strike 1-1, or 4 2/3 of an inning in his first one. But then his last appearance, he was scoreless and struck out a couple of batters. The wind and the 1-1. Swing and a fly ball, center field. Going back, Lucas at the track, leaps, and it's off the wall behind him, bouncing back onto the field. Burleson into second base, stops there with a leadoff double.
That is a tough play for a center fielder to make, and there aren't many players who make it. One of them might be on the Blue Jays bench in Dalton Varsho. We've also seen Kevin Kiermaier make plays like that, but in this case for Nathan Lucas, it just was beyond his grasp, bouncing off the wall in center field.
So a leadoff base runner for the Cardinals, and although they still technically have a chance to come back, they're thinking differently as they pinch hit now in the spot of Paul Goldschmidt. Lucan Baker is in the game. Luis Frias' pitch. Outside, ball 1. Saw Baker once as a pinch hitter yesterday for the Cardinals. 1-0. Check swing called strike 1-1. He hit a ground ball to first base in the 10th inning. That was flipped back to the pitcher.
On a great play.
Yeah, Guerrero went deep into the hole. 1-1. Swing and a high drive, deep right field. Springer back at the track, has some room in front of the wall and makes the catch. Tagging from second, Burleson jogs up to third, but there's one out here in the ninth.
Well, Frias doesn't seem to be fooling the Cardinals here. 2 batters in. Some deep fly balls with both batters that he's faced so far.
For Frias, the mix that he's trying to fool you with, it's a lot of cutters. He throws a 90-mile-per-hour cutter, but he also has a mid to high 90s four-seam fastball and a slider that he'll feature as well. Another pinch hitter for the Cardinals as they get some rest for their veterans. Jose Fermin steps into the spot of Nolan Arenado.
If they hadn't just pinch hit for Paul Goldschmidt, then I might wonder if something was up with his hand, but it might just be a routine substitution here.
First pitch. Just down and away, ball 1. Cardinals scored first in this game on the Jordan Walker homer in the third, but the Blue Jays have 7 unanswered. Next pitch hit foul, 1-1. That's why it's 7-1 Blue Jays with 1 out and a runner on third, top of the ninth.
Just the 1 home run for the Blue Jays, but they've been able to chip away and cobble together 6 more.
10 hits on the day for Toronto, and they only had 2 hits in the first 4 innings. They've come alive later in the game. 1-1. Swing and a flare, foul right side, racing back Guerrero, but he will not get to it in time. It's down for a foul ball and strike 2.
If that ball's hit a little higher, then Vlad Guerrero Jr. might have a chance at it, but just flared too low.
Frias trying to regroup for his personal numbers here, looking for a strikeout or a pop-up to keep Burleson at third. Blue Jays infield playing back. Frias, the righty, kicks and fires. Misses outside with the cutter. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Frias at first to Diamondback, now with the Blue Jays. Long-haired right-hander, kicks and delivers. And the 2-2 is hit just over the leap of Frias on the mound. Fielded at second by Schneider. He throws over to first for the out. Burleson will come in to score. So it's 7-2 Blue Jays, but Toronto 1 out away from winning the game and the series.
Frias leaped for that one. If he had caught it, he might have been able to stop that run from scoring. But instead, he does allow the run, and David Schneider picks him up to get that out behind him.
2 down, bases empty. Brendan Donovan up to hit today with the Cardinals down to their last out. The wind and the pitch. Fastball in there at 97, 0-1. It was a big 6th inning, aided by a couple of Kyle Gibson walks that helped Toronto separate from St. Louis in the game. 0-1 pitch hit high in the air to left field. Moving in Barger and toward the foul line. He makes the catch, and the Blue Jays win it. 34,000 on their feet cheering as Toronto takes it 7-2. A dominating win, and now a series win for the Blue Jays for the first time in September.
A very well-played game by the Blue Jays, led by Jose Berrios, who gives them 7 strong innings, just allowing that 1 home run to Jordan Walker. Otherwise, very effective work from Berrios and some support from the Blue Jays lineup. Not only the homer from Davis Schneider, but the bottom of the order came through, driving in run after run in support of Berrios. So this ends up being a 2nd consecutive well-played game for the Blue Jays. And yeah, as you said, Ben, a series win against the Cardinals.
Blue Jays have a chance to sweep tomorrow, but before we think about that, we're going to take a step aside, wrap it up on the other side, and then get you over to a winning edition of Blue Jays Talk. Stick with us. Blue Jays win 7-2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You can bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Sundays are for Junior Jays, and with all kinds of cool new games and activities in the exciting outfield district areas, there's no end to the family fun you'll have.
If you're feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip.
Blue Jays fans, insiders, thank you. Thank you for being here all season long with the Toronto Blue Jays right here on TSI. It's been a lot of fun. Unfortunately, the season hasn't gone the way we wanted it to, but it is what it is. We'll be back next year for sure. I just wanted to say thank you so much for being an insider. Thank you for being here in the chat, cheering on our Blue Jays. Now let's get back to it. We've only got a few games left in the season. Let's enjoy these young kids and see what they've got. Who's going to make the roster for next year? What's this team going to look like for next year? Chat it up. Let's talk about it. See you guys back in the chat. Go Blue Jays, go.
No chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Springer started right, coming in, leaps and makes the catch full stretch.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center, where the Blue Jays just put the finishing touches on a 7-2 win over the St. Louis Cardinals. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Ben Nicholson-Smith. Blue Jays talk coming up in just a sec. But first, let's take a look back at this one. And we can't start anywhere, Ben, but to start today by Jose Berrios. He came into this game having won 6 straight decisions, pitching maybe his best baseball of the year, although he was great to start the season as well. And he lived up to the bill again today with 7 innings of 1-run ball.
Yeah, he did, winning his 16th game of the season. We all understand they're different and sometimes better metrics than the pitcher win. But hey, you win 16 games at the major league level, you're doing a lot of things right. And Jose Berrios is doing a lot of things right. Continued to do that today against the Cardinals, limiting damage, working quickly, throwing strikes, and attacking the zone to the point that the Cardinals really didn't have a lot of answers for him, didn't create a lot of trouble, and the Jays end up winning in large part because of Berrios.
You mentioned that 16th win. It ties Berrios with Seth Lugo and Tarek Skubal for the most wins in the American League, and it would have tied last year's American League leading total that Chris Bassett had of 16 when he tied last year with Zach Eflin for the most wins in the American League. You can't get a win, though, whether you're a pitcher or a team, without some offense. The first offensive output today came from the Cardinals. Jordan Walker homered in the third. But in the bottom of the third, today's player of the game, Davis Schneider, stepped up and delivered big more than once. 2-1. Swing and a high drive, right field. Walker back at the track, turns around. See you later. Home run, Davis Schneider, his first homer since June, and the Blue Jays tie it up 1-1. 0-1. Swing and a liner, left field, down for a base hit. And to score, Ernie Clement up to second. Addison Barger make it a 2-hit, 2 RBI day for Davis Schneider. 5-1 Blue Jays.
Well, there it is. A big offensive day for Davis Schneider. And the home run, that was his first home run since June 22nd. That's almost 3 months ago at this point. That is a long time in a 6-month Major League season for a guy who was here, who showed that he can hit for power when things are going well for him. This has clearly been the longest, toughest slump of Davis Schneider's Major League career. But today he rebounds out of it, a homer off a righty, and 3 hits today, driving in a couple runs. A really big game and a much-needed game for Davis Schneider.
Big contributions from Schneider and the guys around him at the bottom of the order. Schneider has 3 hits. Barger has 2 hits and an RBI. Before exiting the game with left adductor discomfort, Joey Loperfido had a double in his lone at-bat. The Blue Jays scored 4 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, and ended up winning the game 7-2. For the Cardinals, 2 runs on 3 hits today, 1 error, 3 left. For the Blue Jays, 7 runs on 10 hits, no errors, and 7 left on base. Jose Berrios up to 16-9. He has won 7 straight decisions. He was 9-9 a couple months ago. Now 16-9. Kyle Gibson drops to 8-7 with the loss. No save today in this lopsided affair. A 2.5-hour game in front of 1 short of 34,000 at Rogers Center. The Blue Jays win to go to 71-78, and the Cardinals are stuck now at 500, 74-74. We will wrap up this 3-game set coming up tomorrow. It is a 1:37 first pitch. Miles Michaelis goes for the Cardinals. Yariel Rodriguez, the scheduled starter for the Blue Jays, as Toronto looks for its first series sweep since August 25th when they swept the Angels. Blue Jays and Cardinals returning for one more, but today again the Blue Jays win 7-2. Thanks so much for tuning in. From our technical directors today, Andrew Adams and Tom Young, our producer Nick Blackmore, our host Joe Ali, and my partner Ben Nicholson-Smith. I'm Ben Schulman. Hope you have a great rest of your Saturday, and stick around for a little longer. It's time for a winning edition of Blue Jays Talk with Joe Ali and Daniele Franceschi. It starts right now.
Well, Daniele, we haven't got many of these games recently. The Jays winning a relatively drama-free affair down here at the Rogers Center amidst another bee or probably wasp attack on the opposing team. Happened to Lindor a couple days ago. Nolan Arenado. It looks like he got stung by a wasp inside his glove. I have it on good authority. Rob Longley got stung by a wasp today in the press box.
I was going to mention this. I was sitting there, and there were, I kid you not, right above where I was stationed watching the game, second, third inning, there's just this bee circulating. And I'm like, oh my goodness, no. And then I read the tweets and I see what's going on. And then Arenado, it's too poetic, man. It's too poetic. It's that September air.
That's true.
They like it. A little cool. It's nice. This is a good temperature, and they love it.
They do. They really do. They're sometimes up here in the radio booth. Thankfully, they did not bother us too much, and thankfully, they did not bother the Blue Jays too much today, which is nice. The Blue Jays getting 7 innings from Jose Berrios, although there was one buzzing around his hat late in the game, but it did not seem to bother him. 7 innings from Berrios. The Blue Jays score 7 runs. Big day from David Schneider. They grab a series win over the Cardinals. It's their first series win since they swept the Angels at the end of August, but today a 7-2 win over the Cards here at the Dome.
Show, really impressive. I think there are 2 things I want to cover, but let's start with Berrios. I thought he was impressive yet again. 7 victories in a row now. He's in some really, really special company when it comes to that accomplishment, that achievement among the lore of Blue Jays history. He's the first pitcher to do that since Roy Halladay in 2003, which is incredible. There have been only 3 other gentlemen who have worn this uniform that have been in that position previously. So credit to Jose Berrios. I thought he continued to get better as the outing progressed. The home run he gave up to Jordan Walker, hanging slurve, middle. That thing was being that pitch was being was begged to be hit a long way. Jordan Walker did damage, but then apart from that, gives up just 2 hits, over 7, in command the entire way through. Looked like he was just confident in all of his pitches. And again, with the exception of that mistake to Walker, he was terrific. Also, of course, Joe, big day for David Schneider, who that has to feel real good. I mean, the home run, it starts off with a big homer going the opposite way. You could see the dugout was just lighting up with excitement, beaming with energy, because of course they know how much he struggled and the work that's gone in to get to this point today where he can have a 3-for-4 outing. Just a really great atmosphere at the ballpark. You got to feel good, positive result. A lot of guys chipping in and contributing. Just a great team win for the Blue Jays today, 7-2, as they take the series against the Cardinals.
That's Daniele Franceschi. I'm Show Ali. You're listening to Jays Talk here on the Sportsnet Radio Network. We're also streaming on sportsnet.ca and on the Sportsnet app. You can give us a call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. You can text us as well, 590-590, name and location. The People's Text line is always open. Standard messaging and data rates may apply. We have a lot of stuff to give away as well, Daniele. You want to win some stuff. All you have to do, as you guys know, if you are a regular listener to the program, all you have to do is basically text your answer to this question that I'm going to ask in the second half of the show, because I'm just going to double-check the answer to make sure it's correct. But we will throw out a question, and if you get it correct, again, texting your answer to 590-590, name and location. There's some Carabana hats remaining. There is a Bo Bichette bobblehead. And we also have the City Connect short sleeve hoodie to give away, which is one of those late giveaways they added this season. So we have one of those to give away as well. But it's gonna be Jose Berrios themed. Okay, it's gonna be in honor of Jose Berrios. But again, we'll throw out that question for you to shoot in your answer on 590 name and location after the break. I did want to talk about Jose Berrios though. Coming into this game, since the beginning of July, Berrios had a 3.73 ERA over 12 starts. Since the beginning of August, Berrios has a 2.36 ERA. That's over his last 6 starts. At the beginning of August, Daniele, Berrios had gotten hit by the Yankees. I think the game was in New York, but he got hit by the Yankees for 5 earned runs. He lasted 5 innings in that game, all right? After that, including today, but if you just go back to the last 6 outings after that Yankees game, he has not thrown less than 6 innings of work in any game since. Here are the innings pitched for him. 7 innings, 7 innings, 7 innings, 7 2/3, 6 innings, 6 innings, and then today, 7 innings. He continues to set a new career high. You mentioned it. Now 16 wins on the season. He is now at 99 career wins with 13 games to go this season. So, 13 games to go. There are 2 days off. I'm going to say probably the way it falls is 2 more starts for Berrios before the end of the season. So I know wins are not exactly what they used to be. I know we don't exactly evaluate pitchers based on whether or not they get the win, because I think, bullpens have kind of changed that. Quality starts, I feel like you can kind of look towards a little bit more, but even then it's kind of tough, right? Because quality starts are 6 innings and 3 earned runs, so you don't even get that sometimes. If a pitcher gives you 5 2/3 and 2 or 3 earned runs, you probably take it, but often they don't often qualify for the quality start or the win. So I know that's not exactly what it was when we were younger, but gosh, maybe 2 more starts for Berrios. Maybe he gets 100 career wins. I still think that's very impressive for someone like him.
Yeah, the magic number is 32. 32 starts is the magic number. They're going to get him to 32. So he's 100% going to start 2 more times.
Okay, all right.
Provided, of course, he's healthy and nothing goes wrong.
Yeah.
But the reason that number is significant is because he's done it for 4 years in a row. We then remove the COVID season. It's even longer now that he's had 32 starts in a season. Very few pitchers in Major League Baseball can claim to have that on their resume. In addition, Show, here's a number that maybe is more instructive of just how valuable and effective Berrios has been. We say, of course, in terms of the pitching statistic wins, he's got 16, career high, continues to grow, and is now surpassed, of course, the previous total, which was 14. But today was start number 30 for Jose Berrios. In the 30 starts, in the games where he has pitched, started the game on the mound for the Blue Jays, they are 21-9 this season. And I think, to me, that is more instructive in a lot of ways, because it highlights that when he is taking the ball every 5th day, the Jays have a very good chance of winning a baseball game. Yeah. I think that, to me, as much as 16 individual wins are impressive, I do certainly look at quality starts. I value those because of the sort of the parameters under which they exist. Generally, if you go 6, you give up 3 or fewer, that you're putting your team in a position to win. But 21-9 is a real number. That is certainly indicative of a guy that is giving you an opportunity to win games, and he's putting you in a position where you can consistently compete for victories. Difficult to do in the major leagues, and when you're doing it on a regular basis, that needs to be recognized and acknowledged. So that, to me, is the more impressive stat, because that is encompassing all aspects of the game, everything that's going on. When he's on the hill, they generally win. And that is a positive development, deserves a lot of credit. He's been absolutely nails. And a lot of it is home runs have started to go down as well. Gives up his 29th of the season today. But guess what? In his last 7 starts now, he's allowed 4 compared to 25 in the previous, I think it was 22 outings or so. So you're seeing improvement in that area as well. He's just been excellent all around.
The pitch mix from Berrios has been interesting to monitor all season long as well, because one thing we always talk about with Berrios over the last several years, his whole career, but certainly since he's become a Blue Jay, the pitch we talk about the most has been a slurve. And the slurve this season, I would say on the whole of the year, even when he was, like for the month of, like the March and April there, when he was sitting at an ERA below 1, essentially, when he was basically one of the best pitchers in baseball for the span of like 6-7 starts or whatever it ended up being, he was, like nothing was going wrong for him. FIP was pretty high, so maybe there was an element of luck there, and things did turn, obviously, because, I don't know, like even the guy who wins the Cy Young this year is going to have an ERA greater than 1. I mean, that's just how it is, right? But, I think there was some questions even then as to how the slurve was always working. And as the season went on, it kind of felt like the slurve just wasn't breaking as much as it usually had. So in the last couple of starts, all season we've been looking at this, but specifically in the last couple of starts, I've been very curious as to how that slurve has looked and what the usage of the slurve has looked like, because he's kind of made... He's kind of leaned even further towards the sinker. I mean, he always used the sinker in conjunction with the slurve. He uses both of those two pitches a lot, right? So it's not like he completely fell off using the sinker even when the slurve was working really, really well for him. But in the last couple of starts, even if you just look at today and the previous start, which is on September 7th against the Braves, the last time out, he threw 37 sinkers to 23 slurves. He threw 16 fastballs, 1 cutter, and 13 changeups. So, by and large, he got by on the sinker and slurve, and he had kind of decreased the usage of the four-seam fastball as opposed to what he had been doing when the slurve really wasn't working. Today, for example, a little more, it's maybe slightly more even between the sinker and slurve, 35 sinkers, 30 slurves, 12 changeups, 17 four-seam fastballs, 3 cutters. So the usage, again, with the other pitches outside of that sinker and slurve have largely been the same, but it is nice to see that he felt that it was working for him. And I mean, gosh, when you've been on the run he has been, it kind of feels like everything's been working for him.
I like that you referenced that. In the last 2 starts, here's one other factor I would point to, Show. Look at the lineup construction of the teams that he was facing. The Braves, their best hitters are predominantly right-handed guys, right? That is a fact. So with him in particular, that's where against teams that are very right-handed heavy, and certainly every team has sort of platoon lineups that they'll throw together, but generally your best players are in there. So against teams whose best players are right-handed batters, he'll throw the sinker more. Why? Because he likes having that 2-seam run that tails more away, as opposed to against the lefties, that the danger you see with him sometimes is if that sinker 2-seam action starts leaking over the plate, and he hates that. So that's why I think you see him kind of deviate a little bit. Generally, it's pretty even across the board in terms of what he's doing, but he likes to use the 4-seamer a lot more against left-handers. He likes to use the sinker, conversely, a lot more against righties. But then today the slurve was lights out. The slurve was very good, except he made that one mistake. The one mistake to Jordan Walker. And after that, I mean, heck, there was a strikeout at one point, and forgive me what inning it was, down and away, just located it perfectly right outside on the outside quadrant of the strike zone, gets a swing and miss, and I'm thinking, yeah, he's dialed in. It was like the 5th or 6th inning. He just looked great. He had full command of that pitch today, and we know when he's got it going, he's just as good as anybody in baseball when it comes to being a starting pitcher and producing for his team. That's how you get a sense early with Berrios. Is he locating the fastball, and is the slurve working? And if those two things are, it's going to be a long day for the opposing team.
Yeah, only 4 strikeouts for Berrios today over 97 pitches, but still, I mean, he can get the strikeout numbers up to a gaudy amount at certain points, but he didn't really need to rely on the strikeout today. Got a lot of ground balls, got a lot of really soft contact. It didn't look like any of the batters, again, outside of the one mistake to Walker, didn't really look like a lot of the batters could get into the ball, into their swing as much as they usually can. And I mean, yeah, it's been a down year for Arenado. It's been a bit of a down year for Paul Goldschmidt, who won the MVP 2 years ago. This is true, right? These are true things as well. Cardinals really scuffling, but I don't think that necessarily should take away from what Berrios has been doing. He's been very impressive. Let's go to the phones, Danielle. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, *590 on your cell. We'll go to the text line in a sec, 590-590. Name name and location. But let's go to the phones. Let's go to Hamilton. Matthew joining us from Hamilton. Matthew, what's up?
Hey, gentlemen. How are we doing today?
Good, man. How's it going with you?
Yeah, not too bad. Always nice to get a winning edition of Blue Jays baseball. I had a couple questions for you guys, actually. So first and foremost, I'm sorry to keep bringing it up with Vladdy and the potential extension that's coming, if it does. But if you guys can talk about from a front office perspective as to why this is taking so long, is this some sort of strategy on their part? Like, what's the motivation behind them waiting so long to get him extended? And I'm going to call a little bit later on in the week to talk to Blair and Barker, because I want to ask them this as well. But I want you guys' take on this. And Barker's been saying that, 2 thumpers and a closer is what's going to get this team over the line and potentially back into the playoffs next year. So I'm curious as to what you guys think would be an ideal 1 through 9. I mean, if we want to throw some names into that, by all means. One caveat, though, I will not accept Juan Soto as an answer, because there is absolutely no chance he will ever be a Blue Jay unless he's 40 years old and looking for a 1 year with on a $5 million deal. So I would love your takes on that. Thanks again, and talk to you guys soon. All the best.
Great. Thanks, Matthew. Appreciate the call. It's funny, the Juan Soto thing. I will say this on Juan Soto, at the very least. I think there will be a phone call that takes place. I think there will be a genuine conversation. I think there might even be an offer presented. But I tend to agree with Matthew that he is not leaving New York.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I don't get me wrong. I think that conversation will happen, mainly because it'd be stupid for there not to be a conversation. You know what I mean?
You have to.
You have to. But I also say that about maybe not every team in Major League Baseball. There's no chance the Pirates are calling him to be hey, we're going to give you $700 million. Juan. That's not happening, right? The Pirates are not doing that. But the teams that all have big-time pockets, and the Blue Jays are certainly one of them, will place that phone call and might even put a contract in front of him. But, I mean, let's face it. The 2 teams that are going to sign him, one of the 2 teams, I should say, will be the Yankees or the Mets. He will not play next year for a team that is not the Yankees or the Mets. And if it's the Blue Jays, I will happily eat my words. But I tend to agree with Matthew that it seems unlikely.
Agreed. Both teams in New York bidding for the same free agent. That seems like what we're destined for. I can also add to the list of teams joining the Pirates that are going to be firmly outside, like in a different continent when it comes to the sweepstakes of Juan Soto. Let's throw the White Sox in there. Let's throw the A's, 150% the A's into that category. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anybody else. Those were the 2 that immediately popped into my mind for obvious reasons. Oh, and the Brewers. They spend money on absolutely nobody.
Then I'll throw the Rays in there as well.
Yes, Rays are good. Great choice, Joe. I love that. That's it. Those are the ones I think we can safely say for sure. They're not even having that conversation inside behind closed doors. They're not even bringing up his name. As far as I'm concerned, from my perspective, Joe, and I've said this to you before, unless he's standing in this building with the jersey in his hand, I don't care. Please don't talk about it. I don't want to hear about it anymore. I refuse to get seduced and sucked in to the vortex of believing Juan Soto to Toronto might be a thing. I don't want to hear about it unless he is literally in December or November standing at home plate in this building with whoever's running the team, probably Mark and Ross, and holding a jersey. If that's the case, with Scott Boras beside him, wonderful. But if it doesn't happen, don't call me. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it.
It was kind of like, you remember when Kawhi was traded to the Blue Jays? I wonder what that would have looked like. Kawhi traded to the Raptors, and everyone was kind of like, Kawhi's not going to report. He's not going to report to the team. It's never going to happen. And even I was a little skeptical he was going to actually suit up until I actually saw him sit next to Masai Ujiri on media day, and we got the laugh and the I'm a fun guy thing, which will live in infamy in the city's history. But that's what I really believed it when I saw him with my own eyes.
Yes,
I think that's what would have to happen, even if Jeff Passan was reporting that he signed with the Blue Jays, which I don't think is going to happen. Okay, but for Matthew's other questions, 2 thumpers and a closer, names. I think for me, I'll say this: closers and bullpen names I find really hard to forecast, mainly because you can cobble together a list of names that I would say most people are not familiar with going into next year. Now, of course, like the closer type names, like if we're talking about, if we're talking about the Cardinals selling pieces off, I mean, if it's a Ryan Helsley that's available, that's the guy you pick up a phone call for, or you pick up the phone and make a call for, right? Like that's the kind of name, if Camilo Doval, I know he got optioned this year, but I mean, if he is available, the familiar names who are closers, those are the guys you actually trade real assets for. But I tend to believe that for the most part, bullpen names, closer names are guys who might come a little out of the woodwork that you might not be super familiar with. For me, I think I would still lean position player-wise to left field and DH as to where I would put the thumpers that Barker often references. Like, yeah, could you get a thumper at third base? For sure. Could you move Vladdy to third base and get a thumper at first base? You also absolutely could do that. But I think I would prefer a thumper in left field and DH, and like if I could pick, if I could pick a realistic candidate, I think I would pick two of the three of these names: Anthony Santander, Tyler O'Neill, or Teoscar Hernandez. If two of those three guys are your left fielder and DH next year, I think that would work really well for this team.
Yeah, I like that. I was going to mention Santander and O'Neill for sure. What I really like with Santander is the ability to hit from both sides of the plate. Like, that's a huge thing. And with the power he possesses, clearly that makes him a real big asset, helps your lineup in a significant, appreciable way. Then when I look at the other area, let's say if we're really thinking about we're thinking two thumpers, okay? I understand your thought when it comes to Teoscar and Tyler O'Neill. I would personally, if you could land Tyler O'Neill or Santander to play in left field, and then maybe mix in as a DH, so then your Joey Loperfido or whoever your fourth outfielder is also mixing in as a platoon. That to me works. The other position I would look at, I would say, I think either Alex Bregman or, and I don't know if this is realistic, but Willy Adames would be a terrific fit.
See,
can you move him, though, to third base? Would that be something he'd entertain? Now, to me, then, I think your lineup looks really potent, and Santander would certainly be the preference because of the ability to hit from both sides. You place him anywhere in your lineup, it balances things beautifully. That even if you have, three right-handed bats in Vladdy, Bregman, and Bo, you'd still then be able to break things up a little bit with a guy in Santander that can do that. In terms, go ahead, Sean.
Well, so I just wanted to go back on the Willy Adames thing, because I have said on this program that I think Willy Adames, if I could pick just one free agent that I think is a realistic get for this team, I think Willy Adames is that guy, and I think he is so good. I really do. I think he has a chance to be one of the better shortstops in Major League Baseball. I mean, he already is, I would say, but like going forward, even if he gets paid a bucket load of money, I think he's going to continue being very valuable. The way he plays for quite some time. But I just saw this text from Paul in Toronto. Hey, Show, is one of the two thumpers not already on the team? His salary counted, Bo Bichette. And I think like the Bo Bichette news, to Paul's point, of the past week and a half or whatever, whenever it was that Shai reported that Bo had those comments before he went out on a rehab assignment. By the way, he is going to be playing at shortstop for 6 or 7 innings tonight, which that game starts in. I'm not sure if it's actually already started, actually, but it was
weird starts.
They had some strange start times in the minors, but he was DHing for the first couple of games. He had an RBI single yesterday, went 1 for 4, and tonight he is playing at short. So we'll certainly keep an eye on that over these next couple of days. Maybe he rejoins the team when they go on the road trip next Tuesday in Texas to play the Rangers. But I think it's an interesting idea, because if Bo is on the team next year, I think it basically eliminates the Blue Jays from signing Willy Adames. I think it's like a done deal. I don't think it happens. And here's why. The reason why is because if Bo wasn't on the team, it would make the need for a shortstop, even if you have to pay him a boatload of cash, it would make it almost at the top of the list, essentially, right? Even if you feel pretty comfortable about Leo Jimenez. And by the way, Leo Jimenez, who had been removed from the starting lineup before the game, X-rays are negative. He called it the team called it a contusion, the right index finger contusion. So he is day-to-day. Joey Loperfido, adductor muscle discomfort. He is also day-to-day. But I only bring it up because if Bo is on the team to start the year, then there's just like not a need to spend, because Willie Adames is going to get a lot of money.
Yes,
he's going to get paid like $325 to $350 million.
Really?
That's like the going rate for shortstops now. That's what Bo will get if he hits shorts. If he hits free
you know
agency.
what? Sorry,
you know
that's
what I mean?
a good point.
That's just
Joe.
like that.
Yeah,
that's just like the cost of doing business at that position now.
I think Trey Turner too. He got paid.
That's what I mean.
Same with Corey Seager.
Dansby Swanson got paid a boatload of money.
He was over $200 million. Yes,
Willie Adames is probably a better player than Dansby Swanson, right?
But here's the one caveat I'll provide.
Great.
If you do that and you can indicate long term, we want you to be the shortstop, okay? Because you essentially have 1 year left of Bo, right? You're setting yourself up to have a competitive team in 25, but then inevitably again, if that happens, then I think it signals probably the end of Bo after the 2025 season. But if that's the case, then you're able to move that guy from third base right over to shortstop and say, that's your home. We have a solution. To me, that's a better situation than going into next year where we have sort of question mark at second, question mark at third, where it's maybe a couple different guys factoring in. And then there's the looming thought in your mind that after the 25 season, who's the shortstop? You can answer that question in free agency this year. That will help your team right now and also shore up your shortstop position long term after Bo's future is finally decided.
Maybe Bo's the shortstop of the future long term. We don't know.
Maybe.
That's what I mean.
But then go sign him. Go sign him then if that's what the solution is. Right? I don't know. To me, this is the question actually I did want to also ask, Joe. And I'm curious where you land on this.
Okay.
It's kind of applicable to now because we're going to see it for 2 weeks, but it's more about next year. Where should Bo hit? Where should Bo hit in this lineup? What's the ideal spot?
Second, I guess?
See, I feel the same way, but I see there are a lot of differing opinions on this. I think, personally,
I wouldn't hate him batting cleanup.
Same.
If we think he is the Bo of old, but 2 or 4 seems about right.
I agree. I know, and I saw that Barker was tossing around the idea of hitting him leadoff.
Okay.
I don't like it. Here's the one thing I want, especially if he's on the team next year.
I'm gonna tell Barker you said that.
These last 2 weeks, I don't like it. I really don't. I mean, heck, this contradicts even what Barker has said before, because I think Barker would agree. Generally, you put your most reliable hitter second in the lineup for a variety of different reasons. However, I want Bo and Vlad to hit next to each other. That's all I want. However you arrange it, whether it's Vladdy third, Bo fourth, or Bo second, Vladdy third, let them hit next to each other. The most productive they've been in their careers is when they've hit next to each other. Vlad has finally been left alone in the 3-hole, not to be touched, and he had a career year in 2021 when he hit third exclusively. 2024, he's hit exclusively out of the 3-hole. Boom. Right there now we've seen this resurging year from Vlad. Let Bo hit second and don't touch him. That would be my advice. Don't touch him. And I feel like I would feel personally comfortable if he was second. I would also feel okay with him hitting fourth because I do think he can be a decent run producer, uses all parts of the field, but that's sort of where I land on that.
To your point, at the very least, with the Bisons, and actually they did start. I believe this is Eastern time, 6:05 p.m. Eastern is when they got started. But he is batting second for the Bisons today.
Go.
So there you go. Not that necessarily is an indicator of where he will hit, like in 2 years or whatever, for the Blue Jays, but that is where he is hitting tonight versus the Gwinnett Stripers at Coolray Field. So we'll certainly keep an eye on that, as I said earlier, over these next couple of hours going into tomorrow. 416-870. 0590 1-888-666-0590 star 590 on your cell. Those are the numbers to call. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Alberta. Brendan is in Alberta. Brendan, what's up?
Hey guys, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Spencer Horwitz.
Sure.
So he's been like really good this year, I think. But for me, if this team going forward adds somebody who is going to be either, hitting in that DH first base spot. I mean, like everybody's talking about Pete Alonso or, Santander, and he would be a kind of a right field DH type. What that to me, I mean, like everybody, like the defense for him is not good enough for me at second base to play every day there. Like you saw the double play Wagner snagged yesterday in yesterday's game was just an unbelievable stop to make that turn. And I just don't think Horwitz quite has the lateral movement to make enough of those plays count. I get catch the ball right at you and turn the double play, but for me, I think your second baseman needs to do a little bit more than just that. Obviously have a bit of a bat too, but when I look at it, like when you're looking at the teams that have guys that you'd like on your major league roster, guys like Luis Robert Jr. from the White Sox or Brent Rooker, for example, from the Oakland Athletics, trading for one of those guys instead of trying to go out and sign two boppers and a closer. Like, you're not going to be able to sign everybody that you need in order to improve this lineup. So centering a trade around Spencer Horwitz as a big league player already with a bit of a proven track record now at the major league level, to me, makes a little bit of sense. As much as I like the guy, I like watching him hit, I like his plate approaches, everything he's doing right now. I mean, it's been great to watch, but I think you need a little bit more power out of that spot, or at least position in the roster and both first base and DH.
Well, Brendan, let me ask you this then, because this is something I've discussed with a variety of our colleagues here at the Fan, but you know, when you look at what Horwitz's future is, and yeah, it's true. I mean, he could very well get traded. I've had a whole bunch of people say that's definitely at least a possibility. But when you look at Horwitz, let's say he is on this team next year, but Vladdy is still getting the majority of starts at first base, and like second base is some platoon of Will Wagner and Ernie Clement, let's just say, okay? So if that's the case, then it doesn't leave a lot of spaces for Horwitz to play. Would you be satisfied knowing that Horwitz hits the crap out of righties and just doesn't really play a lot against lefties and is not great against lefties? If he was, let's say, the backup first baseman, you know, he's at first whenever Vladdy is moved to third or is DHing, would you be fine with that?
I wouldn't have a problem with that, but that means I want to see him better in the outfield, and that gets back to George Springer as well. I don't think he can be, like, he needs to be a bench bat going into next year. As much as having $40 million for the next 2 seasons on the bench kind of blows, but like, you can't have that kind of just league average production at the plate taking up a leadoff spot going forward. So, like, if you upgrade your outfield, okay, then you can move him to as a first base DH type. But if you don't, and you're leaving Springer as an everyday player, then you need to move Horwitz and get somebody else that's more offensively capable.
Hey, Brendan, appreciate the call, man. Appreciate the conversation here on Jays Talk. Daniele, I know you are. I'm not trying to say you're low on Spencer Horwitz by any means, but I do know when we have had conversations about Horwitz in the past, I know you've expressed your doubts about like what his, maybe ceiling is the wrong word, but just what his future is with the Blue Jays.
Well, where does he fit? Where does he fit? Does he hit? I mean, you know, it's funny because we talked about this last week, and then he proved me wrong. He went out and had 2 homers
almost
in the ball
hit
game.
4 home runs.
It was insane. And he's had a nice run here. I think if you're going to be a backup first baseman / primary DH or whatever the arrangement might be, if he is on the roster, because clearly they've deviated from second base, or at least it seems that way, then you better be able to provide above average offensive production. Yeah. That is the nature of the job. The way he's being deployed right now, the main priority for him is to go into the box, have great at-bats, hit for some power, and be a run producer. That's essentially what the role that is being conveyed to him is right now, because he's not playing second base, a position that requires a different level of defensive aptitude, right? You're like, your first baseman, your DH, they better be able to produce for you offensively. And so if he's a guy that can hit 20, 25 homers, if he were to get a full complement of games over an entire season, sure, you sign up for that. But am I skeptical because we've only seen an X amount of games? Yes, I'm naturally skeptical and apprehensive about that. I just don't know that I would feel very comfortable or confident after 2 years of circling a bunch of question marks in the lineup every year that we go into 2025 having Spencer Horwitz featured prominently in the opening day lineup or as a premier piece of your team, when I think it's time you need some more bona fides. You need some guys that are kind of penciled in as they're going to give us bare minimum, 20 homers, 80 RBI in the right situation, provided they're healthy. And I don't know you can answer that question with Spencer Horwitz right now because, A, we haven't seen a ton of them, but B, historically, throughout his entire professional career he's never proven to be a power hitter. It's not part of his DNA. It's never been part of his game. In fact, that's part of the reason it took him so long to finally break through and be on this major league roster. They didn't feel like as a first baseman, he provided enough offensive upside to factor in as an everyday player at the major league level. And so I think you have to do your due diligence and ensure you're looking to upgrade in that regard this winter. You absolutely have to. I do think, and it was Brandon. Was it Brandon that we were talking to there?
Brendan, yes, Brendan.
I think Brendan made a great point on the trade front. We're all thinking about a lot of this through the prism of, well, who's available in free agency? Who can you throw money at? Who's going to be maybe open to the idea of coming and playing for the Blue Jays? Well, there's a whole trade market that is also there for you to discover, for you to try and extract value from. And, Brent Rooker's a great suggestion. Sure. Luis Robert, I'd be a little bit iffy because the White Sox still value him highly, but Rooker's an awesome one. Like, you can find other guys via trade that can step in and make an impact for your team. There's no doubt about it. So I think that is a great point that Brendan raised there, something to be mindful of as we move forward here into the offseason.
My only concern with the trade market, it's not really a concern because you can certainly work the phones and get trades, but make trades. But it's just, I think, if we accept that the Blue Jays farm system is not all that, and that the ceiling for some of these guys is relatively low, like for guys that would be traded rather, are relatively low, then surely other teams would see that. Like, I think it's not that they can't make trades; they certainly can. I actually do think that Brent Rooker is someone who's like relatively gettable, but I just wonder if other teams probably see it the same way too. And if the Blue Jays get into some kind of competition with, let's say, the Yankees or the Dodgers or other teams that need guys like Rooker who are blasting 30 home runs a year, they're probably going to lose if the battle is for assets from the farm system or from the major league roster that will get you a Brent Rooker, for example, right? Which is why I think it's again, I'm using air quotes here, but it's like only money that you have to spend to get a free agent, whereas like you don't actually have to spend an asset, if that makes sense, right? And again, but I'm with you. Like it's you can't ignore the trade market. It's just like, I love a fake trade as much as the next guy, right? But it's just you can't really. I would love to say, Addison Barger and player X in the farm system will get you Brent Rooker, but like, who's to say, right? I think that's the issue. My only really.
You know what I find comical, Show? We've essentially, throughout this entire 2024 season, we've run the gamut on trading everybody on this roster.
True.
Okay? The only guy, though, I will say, Show, that I don't think has ever been traded in the court of public opinion is Yariel Rodriguez. And hear me out on this.
All right.
You know why I think he's a very interesting trade, Chip? And I'm going to trade him right now.
So you're going to trade him?
I'm going to trade him right now. We're going to rip the Band-Aid off. We're going to trade him. Here's why. This is certainly not to the same degree or the same caliber, but hear me out. The Yankees last year, okay, the Yankees in the offseason, the trade they made to go get Juan Soto from the Padres, they were able to parlay Michael King as a premier piece of that deal. Michael King, who, yes, he pitched exceptionally well down the stretch, but it was a small sample, mind you, right? Small sample, especially as a starter. He was very good. And clearly there's a much higher ceiling. The upside is still very strong. But they took a guy who was coming off a really, really good season for them, somebody that fans were excited about at the end of the season and saying, okay, this is a guy that can be part of our solution in terms of fortifying the rotation. They took that and turned that into Juan Soto. Now, there were, of course, other aspects of that trade, but why can't the Blue Jays go and use, I mean, Horwitz is one, maybe to a lesser extent, but I do think, weirdly, Yariel Rodriguez, even though he's signed to a 5-year deal here, There is some built-in stability. He's probably the furthest from any fan's mind in terms of a potential trade piece. But why can't you do that with him to some extent? Why can't you look at him, and he's not going to be the centerpiece, but he can be an integral piece to potentially trying to entice a team to make a trade of substance, of consequence that is going to help your team offensively, pitching-wise. I don't know, but that's something that popped into my head the other day in thinking about what the Yankees did coming off a career year for Michael King and turning that into Soto, and the idea of the Blue Jays saying, what if we took Yariel and we paired him with a couple of other guys or whatever, and we use that to cash in on something bigger?
I definitely think it's possible. That's for sure. It's definitely possible. I mean, you better hope that he pitches good tomorrow. I'll tell you that if you want that value to be jacked up a little bit. But he's under contract. For a number of years after this, 4 more years after this season. I think the ceiling is still somewhat unknown for him. I mean, the floor is on the ground.
We've seen it.
Right? We've seen the floor. The floor is very, very low. But the ceiling, I think, can possibly be quite high as well. So that's definitely a possibility. Let's go back to the phones. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go to Etobicoke. Clifton in Etobicoke. Clifton, what's up today, man?
Hey, not a whole lot.
This has been Major League Baseball play-by-play on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app. Why do I love calling this game?
Calling this game?
Calling this game.
Calling this game.
Why do I love calling this game? It's because I get a chance to bring some joy into people's lives.
Anything can happen on a baseball field.
We've got a new game.
It's perfectly unscripted theater.
Everybody on their feet.
Because you never know what you're going to see on a given day.
It is bedlam in the bank as Bryce Harper has put the Phillies on top.
There's just something about baseball on the radio.
Something about the way wood hits leather.
A swing and a drive to deep left center.
The way leather hits dirt.
And he made the play. Oh, my.
The way a deep fly ball sounds like it's about to change history.
High fly ball to center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall.
Until the cleats hit the grass, hit the crushed brick, and then nothing but sky and a silent crowd.
That ball's high.
Until leather hits leather and 40,000 fans lose their collective minds.
In a perfect symphony of chaos.
He jumped up on top of the wall, balanced himself, and caught it.
The way nothing triumphs a perfectly honest call.
I don't believe what I just saw.
And the way the right voice can make a moment live forever.
Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
Outsiders may think this is just 2 teams.
The ball, a bat, and a microphone. But no.
For over 100 years, this has been the soundtrack of the American pastime.
He struck it out looking. It's over. It's over. The Rangers have won the World Series.
The soundtrack of summer. This is Major League Baseball on the radio.
Right now on SiriusXM.
All rise.
Coming in 5.
Get ready to play.
4.
Get up. Get up.
3.
Can you believe it?
Put your seatbelt on.
Wow.
Talk about the game and all the stories on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM 89, and the SiriusXM app.
The 176 and Internet 868. Cardinals on Internet 865. 4 or 5 p.m. Philadelphia Phillies take on the New York Mets. Phillies on Sirius 210, XM 177 and Internet 860. Mets on Internet 857. 4 or 5 p.m. Washington Nationals face the Miami Marlins. Nationals on Sirius 211, XM 178 and Internet 869. Marlins on Internet 854. 6:10 p.m. Cleveland Guardians take on the Tampa Bay Rays. Guardians on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 847. Rays on Internet 866. 6:10 p.m. Detroit Tigers face the Baltimore Orioles. Tigers on Sirius 98, XM 179 and Internet 849. Orioles on Internet 842. 7:10 p.m. Chicago White Sox take on the Oakland A's. White Sox on Sirius 208, XM 175 at Internet 845. A's on Internet 859. 7:10 p.m. Minnesota Twins take on the Cincinnati Reds. Twins on Sirius 99, XM 180 and Internet 856. Reds on Internet 846. 7:20 p.m. Atlanta Braves take on the LA Dodgers. Braves on Sirius 97, XM 181 and Internet 841. Dodgers on Internet 853. National feed on Sirius 108, XM 182 and Internet 969. Spanish feed on Internet 870. 8:10 p.m. Arizona Diamondbacks take on the Milwaukee Brewers. Diamondbacks on Sirius 109, XM 183 and Internet 840. Brewers on Internet 855. 8:10 p.m. Colorado Rockies take on the Chicago Cubs. Rockies on Sirius 209, XM 176, and Internet 848. Cubs on Internet 844. 9:05 p.m., San Francisco Giants take on the San Diego Padres. Giants on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 863. Padres on Internet 862. 9:38 p.m., LA Angels take on the Houston Astros. Angels on Sirius 211, XM 178, and Internet 852. Astros on Internet 850. 9:40 p.m., Seattle Mariners take on the Texas Rangers. Mariners on Sirius 210, XM 177, and Internet 864. Rangers on Internet 867. Spanish Feed on Internet 871. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM MLB schedule for Saturday, September the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the EPL, 7:30 a.m., Southampton takes on Manchester United on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. 10 a.m., Manchester City faces Brentford on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. 10 a.m., Liverpool faces Nottingham Forest on Sirius 211, XM 201, and Internet 963. 12:30 p.m., Aston Villa faces Everton on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. 3 p.m., Bournemouth faces Chelsea on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. In Major League Baseball, 1:05 p.m., New York Yankees take on the Boston Red Sox. Yankees on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 858. Red Sox on Internet 843. 1:05 p.m., Pittsburgh Pirates take on the Kansas City Royals. Pirates on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 861. Royals on Internet 851. 3:07 p.m., Toronto Blue Jays take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Blue Jays on Sirius 209, XM 176, and Internet 868. Cardinals on Internet 865.
SiriusXM has soccer covered end to end. SiriusXM FC. Hear live play-by-play and talk shows hosted by legends of the game. It's SiriusXM FC on Channel 157.
The San Francisco Giants have signed a 6-year extension with Matt Chapman. Joining SiriusXM MLB Network Radio was Giants manager Bob Melvin, and he was on to talk about how this extension proves that Chapman has a commitment to winning.
It is a big deal for a number of reasons. I mean, look at the numbers and what he's accomplished. A wanting to be here in San Francisco and loves the Bay Area and had his time in Oakland. Fan base knows him. I mean, there's just a million things that makes this a great signing for us. And then also shows, that there's a commitment going forward here to winning. Him, Logan Webb, and now we have some younger guys in our system that are coming up and they're going to be part of this thing next year. As disappointing as this season was, I think there are a lot of good things to be excited about going into next year, and certainly that starts with the Matt Chapman signing. Well, yeah, coming in this first year in Oakland, Brian Christensen, who's my bench coach, was his manager in AAA, and we had him some in spring training, and we knew him some. But when we called him up, and I called Ryan, talked to him, he goes, "Look, this guy is 100% baseball all the time. It's all he cares about, and all he cares about is winning." And he shows up, and we won I think it was a Yankee game. We win the first Yankee game, and he had a big role in it. And then just kind of, you could just sense that he was kind of that guy. He didn't jam himself in there as far as the leadership goes as a rookie right away. But by the end of that year, you knew that this is a guy that was going to be in charge of that clubhouse.
Follow every second of the action on NHL Network Radio. From behind the bench to every play on the ice. If it's hockey, it's on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM MLB schedule for Saturday, September the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the EPL, 7:30 a.m., Southampton takes on Manchester United on SiriusXM and Internet channels 157. 10 a.m., Manchester City faces Brentford on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. 10 a.m., Liverpool faces Nottingham Forest on Sirius 211 XM 201 and Internet 963. 12:30 p.m., Aston Villa faces Everton on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. 3 p.m., Bournemouth faces Chelsea on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. In Major League Baseball, 1:05 p.m., New York Yankees take on the Boston Red Sox. Yankees on Sirius XM channels 89, Internet 858. Red Sox on Internet 843. 1:05 p.m., Pittsburgh Pirates take on the Kansas City Royals. Pirates on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 861. Royals on Internet 851. 3:07 p.m., Toronto Blue Jays take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Blue Jays on Sirius 209, XM 176, and Internet 868. Cardinals on Internet 865. 4:05 p.m., Philadelphia Phillies take on the New York Mets. Phillies on Sirius 210, XM 177, and Internet 860. Mets on Internet 857. 4:05 p.m., Washington Nationals face the Miami Marlins. Nationals on Sirius 211, XM 178, and Internet 869. Marlins on Internet 8:54. 6:10 p.m., Cleveland Guardians taking the Tampa Bay Rays. Guardians on Sirius XM Channels 89, Internet 8:47. Rays on Internet 8:66. 6:10 p.m., Detroit Tigers face the Baltimore Orioles. Tigers on Sirius 98, XM 179 and Internet 8:49. Orioles on Internet 8:42. 7:10 p.m., Chicago White Sox taking the Oakland A's. White Sox on Sirius 208, XM 175 at Internet 8:45. A's on Internet 8:59. 7:10 p.m., Minnesota Twins taking the Cincinnati Reds. Twins on Sirius 99, XM 180 and Internet 8:56. Reds on Internet 8:46. 7:20 p.m. Atlanta Braves taking the LA Dodgers. Braves on Sirius 97, XM 181 and Internet 841. Dodgers on Internet 853. National feed on Sirius 108, XM 182 and Internet 969. Spanish feed on Internet 870. 8:10 p.m. Arizona Diamondbacks taking the Milwaukee Brewers. Diamondbacks on Sirius 109, XM 183 and Internet 840. Brewers on Internet 855. 8:10 p.m. Colorado Rockies taking the Chicago Cubs. Rockies on Sirius 209, XM 176 and Internet 848. Cubs on Internet 844. 9:05 p.m. San Francisco Giants taking the San Diego Padres. Giants on Sirius XM Channels 89, Internet 863. Padres on Internet 862. 9:38 p.m. LA Angels taking the Houston Astros. Angels on Sirius 211, XM 178 and Internet 852. Astros on Internet 850. 9:40 p.m. Seattle Mariners take on the Texas Rangers. Mariners on Sirius 210, XM 177 and Internet 864. Rangers on Internet 867. Spanish feed on Internet 871. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM MLB schedule for Saturday, September the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the EPL, 7:30 a.m., Southampton takes on Manchester United on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. 10 a.m., Manchester City faces Brentford on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. 10 a.m., Liverpool faces Nottingham Forest on Sirius 211 XM 201 and Internet 963. 12:30 p.m., Aston Villa faces Everton on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. 3 p.m., Bournemouth faces Chelsea on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. In Major League Baseball, 1:05 p.m., New York Yankees take on the Boston Red Sox. Yankees on Sirius XM channels 89, Internet 858. Red Sox on Internet 843. 1:05 p.m., Pittsburgh Pirates taking the Kansas City Royals. Pirates on Sirius 208, XM 175 and Internet 861. Royals on Internet 851. 3:07 p.m., Toronto Blue Jays taking the St. Louis Cardinals. Blue Jays on Sirius 209, XM 176 and Internet 868. Cardinals on Internet 865.
SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio is the place for expert advice, strategy, and information from the best fantasy sports analysis to win your league. Plus, hear pick-by-pick coverage of live drafts and interviews with top players, coaches, and team executives on SiriusXM 87.
As Shohei Ohtani continues to chase down history, Xavier Scruggs from SiriusXM MLB Network Radio on SiriusXM Channel 89 was on to give his thoughts on how he thinks that Shohei Ohtani hitting 50-50 this season is all but inevitable.
It doesn't even amaze me anymore, just because I expect him to do something different every day. I really do, whether it be with the bat, whether it be him kind of beating his own records via StatCast, via how far he hits it, or if it's something with his legs, right? Now we're seeing him implement this speed factor so much into his game now. It's just something to where I'm in awe every day. But at the same time, it don't surprise me. It's Shohei Ohtani continuing to get better as a player. And I think that was we had these conversations before the season started, how much more might he be focused on the hitting side of things? How much more might we see him take off just being on one side of the ball? And it's really happened. So Ohtani continues to do Ohtani-like things. I think 50-50 is going to be inevitable. I think he wants it, and he's shown us how aggressive he is on the bases. He even got picked off yesterday, which we don't see him get picked off all too often, but it shows you how aggressive he is towards gaining that 50-50 season for the first time in MLB history.
Get the latest news, opinion, and analysis from MMA to boxing and the professional wrestling world 24/7. SiriusXM Fight Nation, SiriusXM 156, and the SXM app.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM MLB schedule for Saturday, September the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the EPL, 7:30 a.m., Southampton takes on Manchester United on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. 10 a.m., Manchester City faces Brentford on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. 10 a.m., Liverpool faces Nottingham Forest on Sirius 211 XM 201 and Internet 963. 12:30 p.m., Aston Villa faces Everton on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. 3 p.m., Bournemouth faces Chelsea on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. In Major League Baseball, 1:05 p.m., New York Yankees take on the Boston Red Sox. Yankees on Sirius XM channels 89, Internet 858. Red Sox on Internet 843. 1:05 p.m., Pittsburgh Pirates take on the Kansas City Royals. Pirates on Sirius 208 XM 175 and Internet 861. Royals on Internet 851. 3:07 p.m., Toronto Blue Jays take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Blue Jays on Sirius 209 XM 176 and Internet 868. Cardinals on Internet 865. 4:05 p.m., Philadelphia Phillies take on the New York Mets. Phillies on Sirius 210 XM 177 and Internet 860. Mets on Internet 857. 4:05 p.m., Washington Nationals face the Miami Marlins. Nationals on Sirius 211 XM 178 and Internet 869. Marlins on Internet 854. 6:10 p.m., Cleveland Guardians take on the Tampa Bay Rays. Guardians on Sirius XM channels 89, Internet 847. Rays on Internet 866. 6:10 p.m., Detroit Tigers face the Baltimore Orioles. Tigers on Sirius 98 XM 179 and Internet 849. Orioles on Internet 842. 7:10 p.m., Chicago White Sox take on the Oakland A's. White Sox on Sirius 208 XM 175 at Internet 845. A's on Internet 859. 7:10 p.m., Minnesota Twins take on the Cincinnati Reds. Twins on Sirius 99 XM 180 and Internet 856. Reds on Internet 846. 7:20 p.m., Atlanta Braves take on the LA Dodgers. Braves on Sirius 97 XM 181 and Internet 841. Dodgers on Internet 853. National feed on Sirius 108 XM 182 and Internet 969. Spanish feed on Internet 870. 8:10 p.m., Arizona Diamondbacks take on the Milwaukee Brewers. Diamondbacks on Sirius 109 XM 183 and Internet 840. Brewers on Internet 855. 8:10 p.m., Colorado Rockies take on the Chicago Cubs. Rockies on Sirius 209 XM 176 and Internet 848. Cubs on Internet 844. 9:05 p.m., San Francisco Giants take on the San Diego Padres. Giants on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 863. Padres on Internet 862. 9:38 p.m., LA Angels take on the Houston Astros. Angels on Sirius 211 XM 178 and Internet 852. Astros on Internet 850. 9:40 p.m., Seattle Mariners take on the Texas Rangers. Mariners on Sirius 210 XM 177 and Internet 864. Rangers on Internet 867. Spanish feed on Internet 871. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM MLB schedule for Saturday, September the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the EPL, 7:30 a.m., Southampton takes on Manchester United on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. 10 a.m., Manchester City faces Brentford on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. 10 a.m., Liverpool faces Nottingham Forest on Sirius 211 XM 201 and Internet 963. 12:30 p.m., Aston Villa faces Everton on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. 3 p.m., Bournemouth faces Chelsea on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. In Major League Baseball, 1:05 p.m., New York Yankees take on the Boston Red Sox. Yankees on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 858. Red Sox on Internet 843. 1:05 p.m., Pittsburgh Pirates take on the Kansas City Royals. Pirates on Sirius 208 XM 175 and Internet 861. Royals on Internet 851. 3:07 p.m., Toronto Blue Jays take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Blue Jays on Sirius 209 XM 176 and Internet 868. Cardinals on Internet 865.
Mad Dog Sports Radio has the best sports talk in the business, covering sports with a passion and knowledge you need. Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM 86, and the SXM app.
Speaking on Sirius XM MLB Network Radio, Mike Farron and Jim Duquette broke down which New York Yankees starters could make a potential move to the bullpen in the postseason.
So, we're looking at this because of strikeouts in the postseason tend to play, but Heel, Cole, Rodon, Schmidt are your top four. Then it's Cortez, who's a little bit below average, and it's Stroman, who's well below average. The risk you have with Heel is that, and Friday he was good, but he's walked, 12.5% of the batters that he's faced this year. Mm-hmm. That's a really high total. And do you want to create that extra traffic in the postseason? Can the strikeouts balance that out?
I mean, it's hard to use that guy out of the pen if he's walking that many. You get like three batters, and if you don't figure it out in three batters, you're done, But you're right in the sense that, okay, you don't want to be behind in, starting rotation too, but the level of strikeouts, as you mentioned, you can have a little bit more patience in the postseason. I don't know. To me, again, you're talking about I think two of those guys pitching out of the bullpen. I mean, they're two of your better pitchers, not just, on the starting side. You're going to have to find a spot for him out of the pen. So then you go, all right, well, who's more likely to pitch out? Who's capable of pitching out of the pen? Well, Cortez, he just showed he can do it. So there's one.
Yeah.
Out of that mix, who's the next guy? I don't know.